switch over here. So, tonight, you wonderfully generous people for donating to Extra Life to support the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. So we are entertaining you tonight with this wonderful game in the D&D Adventurers League Eberron Oracle of War series. And tonight we have EB-06, The Last Word.
Dum dum dum.
Dum dum dum. So, this is the second in the Fortunes of War trilogy, where you got a prophecy from the Oracle and you are following up to find out about it. When dark lanterns flicker in the light of the silver torch, the king in green rides north on a bolt of steel. Two nations prepare for war as all eyes turn to sky blue. So it sounds lovely and ominous, just the way a prophecy should be. And last time, you were off to Sharn, which was the largest city in Breland, to do a bit of investigating, see what you could find out about this, about the Oracle itself, about this prophecy. You consulted with, what was his actual profession? A young man with knowledge of such things who had been part of a program to build something similar to this in his own country to take a look at it. And you consulted with the Sphinx, Flamewind, and brought the prophecy to her, and she said that she would look at it and get back to you. And you talked to a spy that you had sent ahead trying to get this Irulan character who seems to be something of a particular foe for your party. And basically found that, yes, she has a hideout there in Sharn, but your agent is still doing some more monitoring and investigation and all of that. So it has been a few days since we left off, with you leaving from Flamewind's office. So let's do just sort of a quick set of introductions, and that means I actually have to dig my keyboard back out. Basically, name, race, class, and whatever's on the top of the mind of your character tonight. So let's start with Brandy.
Brandy is a half-elf, Mark of Storm. She is a sorcerer with a little bit of warlock thrown in. You all noticed a couple adventures back that she started carrying a shield and looks like she actually knows how to use it, which is, kind of new for her. And on her mind tonight, she's really kind of interested in this prophecy, thinks it might be a new goal in her, at least near-term life, since what started on adventuring, she's got kind of grown beyond that. So that's what's going on with her.
Splendid.
That was an accident.
Okay, how about Amos? Oops.
Amos is a dwarf. He's a dwarven priest of the Forge of Onatar, and he's relieved to be back in his armor. He felt a little bit squeamish out of his shell in the city, and so he feels more comfortable and at ease now. He's just finished putting his arcane sort of enchantments on Ungus's halberd, his blessing of the forge. I guess not arcane, divine.
Divine. Note to self, more reasons to get Amos out of armor. Okay, we got it.
Not to mention how good he looks out of it.
So dashing. Okay, Arlek.
Arlak, one of the other dwarves in the party, he is particularly of House Kundarak. Arlak is an artificer of the battlesmith persuasion, and with his trusty sidekick, escaped the goat. And he's just now starting to figure out some new infusions. He got himself a new pair of gloves to help his friends get through doors that are otherwise inaccessible. And now his warhammer kind of glows a little bit as well. So he's
Ooh.
interested to try out all his new toys.
Ooh, very fun. And Vila.
Vila's a forest gnome artificer, also a battlesmith, and she is looking at Amos and Angus's weapons, wondering which one she should tinker with.
Ooh, that's always fun.
Hmm.
Oops, and I got her separated from Connor. Connor is Vila's, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, and finally tonight we have Angus.
Wait. Angus is also a dwarf. He is a fighter carrying a massive halberd that's probably twice his size, but holds it proudly and strongly. Um, and yeah, at this point, he's actually itching for some ale today. That's sort of his primary focus on the. That's what he's thinking.
Oh boy. Okay, so does anyone have any shopping to do in Sharn while you're there? Sorry. No?
I don't think I do.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Well, so while you are sort of hanging about in town, Faye has gotten word from one of her students that she really has a soft spot for that's in major trouble. And so Faye has gone off to take care of that during this adventure and isn't with you today. Puts a little downer on the evening, but as you're drowning your sorrows in the inn, a page comes up with an urgent summons to the offices of Flamewind, the Sphinx resident at Moorgrave University. So, apparently, there is news she's figured something out about that draconic prophecy you left for her.
Sweet.
Yeah, so following the page, you go into the university and up in through the library and up into the hall, where you can see there are still glaziers and carpenters and so forth mending the damage from Ireland's attack on you last time. And you are led up into Flamewind's chamber, occupying the apex of the dome there of Lareth Tower. And inside a large window overlooks the magnificent skyline of Sharn. And the desk and podium and all are too large for the average humanoid, but there's, of course, this magnificent creature there, and it looks just right for her. Shelves are stacked with books and scrolls all over, a map of Khorvaire's on one wall, and she looks over at you and actually puts down her cup of tea. She looks serious.
That's new.
Yeah, she looks quite serious, but she actually gives you a little smile. Well, my favorite adventurers, I'm afraid destiny calls upon you, and I require your assistance.
How can we help?
Well, so you gave me that very interesting bit of text that your oracle provided, and it's clearly part of the draconic prophecies. When dark lanterns flicker in the light of the silver torch, the king in green rides north on a bolt of steel. Two nations prepare for war as all eyes turn to sky blue. Now, I must tell you here, though, the draconic prophecy is notorious for confounding expectations, even on verses as seemingly straightforward as this one. So do bear that in mind, that these are educated guesses only, and you might find something a little different. So clear? We're clear on that?
Yes.
Noted.
Crystal.
Alrighty. Well, so as I've been looking this up, here in Breland, the intelligence service is known as the King's Dark Lanterns, and while the Thranish intelligence service is known as the Silver Torch. So this clearly refers to the two of those. And I do believe the Silver Torch is planning to strike against the Dark Lanterns. And if their actions are exposed, it could lead to war between the two nations. Now, coming to the King in Green, I was thinking back, and in the old kingdom of Galifar, those in line to the throne wore green sashes while in court. So this could refer to Cor Ilwirnan, that's King Borinel's younger brother, you know. And of course, the bolt of steel is most likely a lightning rail. So if this prophecy comes true and war with Thrain looms, the king's brother would naturally ride the lightning rail north to Sword Keep to reinforce Breland's border. So I was thinking about that part, and thus far is quite straightforward. And I was thinking about it, and I went digging in my library, and I turned up another verse that I think might be related. Let me grab it here for you. Oops, I put my keyboard away. You need my keyboard back. Come back here, keyboard. I shall paste this into chat for you. The dog of war dances on water by the light of the silver torch. I did some index. I have a reasonably well indexed library, though of course the index is quite a bit larger than the library. It's never mind. You don't need to know any of that. So I believe that there is a Thranish spy from the Silver Torch working within the royal court. They've infiltrated the royal court. I don't know who it is. I mean, it's whoever this is called the Dog of War. That might become meaningful. You might find it meaningful. But the reason why I think this might be related, tomorrow night is the annual Armistice Ball, which happens to be held on a river galleon. In Wroat, that's the capital, of course. So the galleon docked there is the Montulet, and pretty much all the best of the nation's nobility, of course, will be there. So I am thinking that the spy plans to show up there to carry out their mission. Now, I don't know what that is. And that last line in yours, the all eyes turn to sky blue. I haven't quite figured that out yet. However, the rest of this, though, I think seems to be rather time sensitive. So I am suggesting that you lot take the lightning rail to Wroat and find a way to infiltrate the Armistice Ball. See if you can find out what the spy's mission, who the spy is and what their mission is. Yes, that should be quite straightforward, don't you think? And she blinks at you expectantly.
Do we know anything about the people that will be at the Armistice Ball?
Well,
or is it just fancy people?
I think it is likely to be the fanciest of the fancy people. You might be able to find some more information as you get closer to there. I, of course, have never attended it myself. I mean, what a waste of time. But I understand that quite a few people think of these things fun. She delicately sips her tea. In any case, if you take the overnight lightning rail, you could get to Wroat, I believe it arrives at some mid-morning, 10 o'clock or some such. But that should give you plenty of time to figure out what you're going to do. I mean, the ball usually starts in the early evening. I don't know. I'm sure someone there knows. But it has like fireworks and things at midnight at the grand finale of it. And you know, these fancy dues, so terribly tedious. Oh, but once you've done with that, do come back and tell me what you have learned. I can scrape up here. I think I've got, I have a coin or two. Yes, I can manage like 250 gold for each of you. And I'm sure I have some interesting weapons around here somewhere. I'm sure I could get you a +1 weapon or something. I mean, I know it isn't much, but, you know. I do trust your judgment, though, in determining the correct course of action around this. So what do you say?
Well, I haven't been to a good party in a while, so sounds fine to me.
Excellent.
I'm sure they'll
Right.
have things to drink.
Right. Get me some ale.
I might even get you to drink some wine. You never know.
I think that a bit unlikely. But wonders may
Yeah,
never cease.
perhaps.
Sure.
So, you'd best set off then if you're going to catch the lightning rail. Shoo, shoo. And she turns back to her book.
Okay.
Guess we've got a train to catch.
Ah,
So,
Right.
now I have a question for you lot. Are you
Mm-hmm.
taking the oracle with you, or are you leaving it here in Sharn?
is Callie still here in Sharn?
Callie is still in Sharn.
Yeah.
Would you like to leave it with her or take her with you?
This is a party. I don't know that we want to be lugging this around a party atmosphere.
No, it seems safe right here.
So you're going to
The question
leave
will we-
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, I vote we leave it.
Are you going to leave it with
Leave it here with
her or with
Callie?
the young man who checked it out for you last time? That was Zelmar.
It feels, if someone's going to make a move on it, it feels safe with our friend here.
With Flamewind.
Yeah, and we know we'll be back to report to her. And I don't expect her to go missing or anything.
That's true, and her chambers are quite are quite secure, definitely.
I would think so.
And she will allow you to leave it there too.
Sounds like a good plan.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Alrighty. Okay, so the overnight train to Wroat sweeps out of Sharn and into the Brellish countryside. Moving through the train to your compartment, you enter a busy dining carriage. A gaggle of nobles and patricians relax under the light of ever-bright lanterns, swapping stories and sipping wine. A young man dressed in white and gold finery leans against the bar. The annual Armistice Ball is sure to be a delight this year, he proclaims. A veritable who's who of the Brelin's finest. Who here is going? And you see a couple of the patrons sort of rolling their eyes, and one of the women sort of titters at him. Now you are going to have to sort of make your way through a little bit. Are you going to try and interact with anyone here, or do you wish to go straight to your rooms?
These are all like random people on the train.
They do appear to be, yes. Although, as you look around, Amos kind of notices there are two figures sort of sitting and one of the benches kind of off in the corner that seem to be watching you rather closely. A pair of half-elves. One's dressed in red and the other in black.
Don't look now, but we've got some attention in the corner. And he doesn't look, but he just kind of cocks his head.
What
So
are they
they-
doing? Just looking?
They appear to be sitting there and just paying very, very close attention. They do seem to try and look away and be a little surreptitious about it, but they're so terribly obvious in their surreptitiousness.
Hmm.
Shall we go have a word?
I think it's a good idea.
So are they at a table?
They're actually sitting on a bench. I actually, didn't quite.
And we're on the train.
They're on the train. We're going to grab my keyboard back.
Is there any
Okay, so
space in
having
between?
my keyboard as put away isn't the most best thing. I'm going to. Well, I don't have tokens in red and black, so I should put these here. Red and black. Alrighty. Oh, I need your tokens. I shall grab your tokens from the main page, and I shall move you over to take a look at the train while I go fetch your tokens. Let's see, we do not have the Oracle with us. We have all these others, and it's such tight, cramped quarters on trains. So I'm going to put you all in this car here, as you can make your way in. These two are the ones who were watching you very closely, and you're moving to your right on this map.
So Angus is going to, and they're sitting on a bench. Okay.
Yes, you should be able to see them. Yeah, they're sitting on a bench very much like the bench on that other side. They're kind of watching the others at these tables. Let me grab a couple of these. I'll put another one of her.
So Angus is going to say, right, let's have a chat with them. And he's going to walk in and squeeze right in between them. Like just sit on the bench right in between them and like maul in hand.
And
just
how
kinda,
are you in? Are you in full armor?
I am like fully armored. Yeah.
Oh my. Okay, let's see how they react. Okay,
Greetings.
Might do some damage to him.
Especially the one
Make room.
squished in. The one squished in here. Yeah, you might very much. Oh, what? What are you doing?
Just getting comfortable. I
There's
seem
a
to notice
bench
you
over there. You could
giving
sit.
us the eye.
Nonsense. You are completely mistaken.
Thought maybe you found me attractive. Both of you.
I hardly think so.
Right. Well then. What shall we do now?
I'll cast
buying
Gust
me a
to make
drink?
his beard ripple seductively in the breeze.
So, which one of you two's buying me some ale?
We're just acrobats on our way to Wroat. We don't have the kind of money to buy you ale. You look like you would drink too much.
You're right about that.
What business do acrobats have in Wroat?
Well, we're going to seek work in the theater, of course. It's the capital. There ought to be plenty of audiences interested in our trade. It's the ones moving, trying to get a little further, get a little space between himself and yes. What are you
Fine,
doing?
I'll get my own ale. Angus gets up, heads to the bar.
And they turn and start whispering to each other. Okay, so you're gonna make it through, and it is a tight squeeze. This is a train, and the train is moving quite fast, so you get jolts along the line. And yeah, it should be lots
So
of fun there.
I'm gonna buy 3 glasses of wine.
Okay, and
Brent?
the young man there, who seems quite the extrovert, and he's sipping his wine, and he looks you over, and then seems to sort of disregard you and turn back towards the barkeep. When you get that, the
Brandy will
barkeep. Go ahead.
Brandy will lean down to those two and softly, not quite a whisper, softly say, "It wouldn't hurt you to be nice to him. He doesn't have a lot of friends. So, just go with it. It's all right. Thank you." And I'll sit down.
Give me something charisma based. I don't care what, but something charisma based.
That sounds
see
like
what-
persuasion to me. I don't know.
Persuasion, yeah, persuasion works. Okay,
It's a
they're a
12.
little uneasy. And you start hearing an argument breaking out at this table, but it seems to be related to the cards that they're playing. Okay, so Angus, you have 3 glasses of wine. I need my keyboard.
I'm
I
gonna
book this time.
Awkwardly bring them back, trying to balance them
Mm-hmm.
in my dwarf hands. And I'm gonna awkwardly sit in between them again and hand them each a glass. It's kind of spilling a little bit out the sides as I hand them glasses of wine. Right, now let's get to know one another.
And as the wine spills on the one on your left, he kind of loses it, and he jumps up and starts swearing at you. You incredibly clumsy oaf! What have you done? And let's see here. Oh nope, you don't notice anything like that. Where is it? Okay, Amos, what, you're sitting over on the bench over there towards the bar?
Stretching out a bit.
How much attention are you paying to what's going on back here with Angus and his playmates?
Kind of. Angus is his cousin, so he's familiar with his antics, and he's side-eyeing him the whole time. But generally kind of looking at this gentleman at the bar and watching the goings-on of the room.
Well, so this one is he's standing up and swearing, and all the eyes have been drawn to him, and he sort of notices that, and he kind of looks around nervously and sort of abruptly heads off there. And as he does that, the other one sort of wiggles out of the way and heads out, and so they sort of scuttle into the next car.
So I say to Brandy that seems like they don't like attention.
Maybe so. All the more reason to pay attention to them. Brandy's gonna non-threateningly come up behind him and say, "Sorry about that, dears, but I can help you out with those stains." And I'll cast Prestidigitation and clean any of the spilled wine off of their clothing. Say, "No harm done. Sorry, we're just trying to be friendly here. We're new on this train and this area. We're just trying to make friends. That's all."
Give me either perception or insight.
Where's my numbers? Oh, same score either way, so it doesn't matter much. Ooh, yes, a 4.
Okay, but they're trying to brush you off, and it's like, get back, we're fine, leave us alone, go away. And they're trying to get away from you.
I'll sit down here in this car so I can pretend like I'm just nonchalant, but I'll keep half an eye on him.
And Arlic is sitting down here. So they come down here, and they kind of pull up short when they notice Arlic sitting there, like surprised and not in a good way. And then they do finally sort of recover themselves and head down and sit over in a corner.
Arlaka's just sitting there fiddling with stuff with his tinker's tools. Doesn't even look at him.
Okay, so
Amos is going to go up and order 2 ales from the bar.
All right, and then...
You know what they say, 2 dwarves as cousins, 3 dwarves as a party.
Okay, so you're given a couple of ales. And he seems
Brings
to,
it to
he's going to move
Angus.
over one.
Right, that's better.
Don't take it personally, cousin. And he goes back to the bar, and this fellow, what's he look like? The one at the bar.
The one at the bar, he looks, let's see here.
So they
I
didn't
have a
accept
description
my
here somewhere.
wine. So I'm sitting here with 2 pints and 3 glasses
I
of
gave
wine.
you 1 pint.
Okay.
And I kept the other.
Okay.
Drinking it at
Let's
the
be
bar.
clear.
Okay, and I've got 3 glasses of wine because they weren't having it, were they?
Yeah,
I
so
just
I
about
mean,
spewed on my keyboard.
he looks, he's wearing white and gold finery and has kind of a bit of a snooty expression on his face, but also a bit of a curious, a little bit of curiosity gleams a bit in his eye. And he's trying to sort of not look at you because you're just so beneath him in more ways than one. And yeah. But on the other hand, nobody else answered anything about his Sally and bored and looking for someone to talk to. I should have actually made you roll insight before I told you all that, but what the heck? He's not subtle about it.
That's a nice ascot. Is that silk?
Yes. What would you know about silk?
I know many things about materials. Don't have much silk on me, except for me breeches, but I know good silk when I see it.
He kind of leans a little further away from you.
We're making friends.
Everyone.
So
And
Angus is going
influencing
to take
people.
the 3 glasses of wine.
Yeah.
Angus will take the 3 glasses of wine and put them in front of him. I don't drink this. Here you go.
Give me a persuasion.
Looks like something you might like. I don't know.
Give me a persuasion. Let's see how charming he finds you. Oh,
Angus is
yeah, he's
particularly
turning
charming.
the other way. Yeah, it's like you are beneath his notice, and he knows how to not notice a person.
Well, I didn't spend. Amos, we're not making friends here.
Never missed Faye more. Always had a way with the words.
So as it goes on, it's getting somewhat late, and people are starting to file off into other cars of the train, and the nobles are heading off to more sumptuous first-class lodgings. A couple of the hardcore folks are staying around, but others are heading off. You do have bookings for... I'm going to shove these guys over. You guys do have bookings for beds in I should actually ping you guys over here into this car if you like. Or you're welcome to stay where you are.
Before I head to the sleeping car, I'm going to cast message in that fella's head, trying to make my voice sound like his companions, and just very faintly say, "I thought he was kind of cute."
You're saying
And
that
then
to
I'll move on out.
the young man at the bar? From the bar?
No, I'm saying it to the two half elves. Well, to the male half elf that we scared away,
Oh.
in the female half elf's voice, or my best approximation of it. And then
Give
I'll
me
head on over toward.
deception. Or performance, either one.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay. And he turns to her and goes, I beg your pardon. And she looks at him like,
Well, that was fun.
she sort of shrugs at him. Because, of course, she didn't hear it. So, Arlic, are you going to take your tinkering down to the sleeping car? These are little rooms. You can see there's little doorways with a little bench and a bed in each one.
Yeah, I'll head that way. And I will take one sort of in the middle, actually by this door here. And then I will
I'm missing
use
something.
my house Kundarak alarm. Are these
There we go.
doors into these sleeping compartments, or is it more like a curtain kind of?
It's more like a curtain kind of thing.
Okay. Then I guess it counts as a door or window or whatever. My compartment,
Mm-hmm.
I'll alarm it while I'm sleeping.
Okay. And you're gonna leave Connor out guarding the door?
Yeah, he's just gonna pace around the hallway.
All right. Give me a perception check for Connor.
Perception would be right here. Is it showing up?
Give it a moment. Roll20 sometimes a little slow.
I do notice I can control escape's token, but I don't have access to a sheet.
Is his sheet here? Let's see.
There we go.
I could see his lovely picture, but I don't have the sheet part.
Oh, because I have that set up just as a token. Let's see. Let's actually give it to him.
Hold on, so the second one's a test. Okay.
Okay, try it now.
Nope, I still only see bio and info. Actually, I lost access to my token
All right, let me double check here.
for escape.
I've got it in your journal. Oh, but not the edit and control by. That's what we're missing. Okay, try it now. Oh my god,
Alright.
the smaller one distracted.
Yep, that's good.
Alrighty. Well, so how does Connor typically alert?
Oh, barking.
By barking. Okay, so you notice a barking sound about the same time that Arlec's alert goes off. And so one of these starts heading down that way very quickly, trying to shut up Connor, and one of them's diving into here. So let's roll some initiative.
What do we see? Or what does Connor see?
I don't know. Do you peek out, or do you have the ability to look through his eyes?
Oh no, I was wondering what Connor sees, but yeah, I'll just wait. Hold on.
All right, descending. I'm missing somebody's. Let's see. There's Brandy, Undis, Amos. I'm missing Vila. Vila rolled. I need to get Vila. If you select your token first, it'll automatically go on. But let me. Oh, fuss. Hang on, Vila. I have to move you down to where I can actually get add turn. There we go. I'll put you back. You had a 13. Not 123, just 13. Alrighty.
Now, would this have been like in the middle after we had already bedded down, or is this while we were
Yes, this
preparing?
is after you are well asleep. Let's see. So they're actually no, because Connor went high enough. No, we're gonna go as is. Okay, Amos. There's barking out in the hallway.
Amos will.
And you would recognize it as being Connor, I'm sure.
As rises up, kind of goes up to the door, pulls it open slightly, and peeks out.
And you see someone going into Arlek's room across from you, and someone moving swiftly down the hall towards Connor with a weapon pulled out. What kind of weapons do these guys have? Sword. Oh, actually, they also have sword.
Well, I'm gonna make some noise as well. The one going into Arlak's room, extend my finger and ring the bells.
Okay.
It is not missing any of its hit points.
So
DC 14 wisdom.
Wisdom. Ooh, and fails, so he takes it.
Alright. And the bells ring.
And that's kind of loud too. Anybody who was asleep is awake now, that's for sure. Oops, minus 13. Alrighty.
That's his turn.
Okay, Ungus.
Ungus recognizes the sound of those bells and
Yes.
hops out, grabs the halberd, comes outside.
Okay.
And
You see this figure rushing down with sword drawn towards Connor, and you've got one shadowy figure leaning into Arlix.
all right. And Ungus is going to attack the one that is heading towards Connor.
Oh,
That
yes,
might itch.
that hits. That gets that hits. Minus 23. Good.
And then he does it again. Where you think you're going?
Do you have a reason
Not
to have
so
advantage?
Nope.
Okay, so your halberd is
And
stuck in the
Just smashed him with a halberd.
smashed with the halberd, and it's now stuck kind of in the wall, and yeah, didn't go anywhere in that second strike.
Yeah. And he's going to use his bonus action to attack again.
Oh.
26
Okay.
with the back of the pole arm.
All right.
For Sep.
Nothing interesting there. Nothing interesting there. Nothing interesting there. He's just gonna take it. There's nothing for excellent for reactions. Okay.
And that's Ungus's turn.
Vila. Connor has alerted you.
I have no armor or shield, so I'm just gonna get onto Connor's back. Take out Lance. Have Connor start riding forward. And I'll attack from right here.
Okay.
For the first one for 12.
That will miss. This is kind of a narrow place, little unwieldy for a lance. Oh, but your second strike, you figure it out. Ooh, this is
And
not
then
going well for them. Okay.
Connor's gonna get a little bit closer so
And
that he can
bite,
attack.
chomp, chew toy.
Oh.
You know, he's used to being outside. He's a big dog. This is a small space. And he doesn't quite, But it was a powerful
And-
chomp. It just didn't chomp the assailant.
Yeah, and that's it.
Okay. So on their turn, he strikes out with a short sword. He's going to strike out both of these at Connor.
Those both hit.
And this one is going to disregard escape, not recognizing it. Well, actually, he should know what escape is. He should know. He's going to... Yeah, the alarm's up. He's going to go ahead with escape and hit escape. Or attempt to. The first one will hit.
Yep.
Alrighty. Are those two immune to poison?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I kind of thought so. Alrighty, Arlek. There's a nasty person stabbing at escape.
Very rude.
Very rude.
Just gonna grab my Warhammer, bonus action, cast branding smite.
Okay. This is gonna hurt.
Let me do that. And then, well, that showed up weird. And then I will do regular attacks.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so this showed up weird. I take
Yeah,
the
so
23 for the smite rather and not the 7.
he's always fighting one-handed.
Okay.
Okay.
So I take
And
the 12 bludgeoning down
Just
below,
the 12.
and then the 23
Yeah, just
radiant. Correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing.
Did you
Oh,
upcast
I
it?
know why. Because I tried to make a. No, I tried to add it as a damage thing, and so it did it twice. So it would just be the 12. So 24.
Okay. 24.
I was trying to be too fancy.
All right.
And then I will attack a second time.
Ow!
25 for 10.
Ow! You're
And
beating up my assassin! How deft. Humph.
and
Oh, this one's actually bloodied too.
I'll direct escape. Actually,
You branded, right?
yeah, I branded, so I can't have him do anything. So he will be hanging out.
So we'll go up to Brandy then.
I'll step to the side and open my door and see some nasty-looking creature there engage with my buddies.
And don't careful with the halberd. They're right across the way in front of you.
Yeah,
But you're
I'm
used to
just
that.
gonna try to reach out and touch this assassin or whatever it is with a little shocking grasp action. Ooh, that should be 23 for 8.
That, yeah. Zap. He's kind of
Yep,
shocked,
and
startled.
no reactions. And then I
Okay.
will just kind of step back out of the way so he can't quite see me. And that'll
Okay.
do.
Okay. Brings us back to Amos.
Amos hears the blows coming from down the hall, doesn't hear any cries from his companion, so he's gonna press his advantage, ring the bells, let everybody know what's going on here. So that's a DC 14 whiz save for 21.
And which one is that at again? Is it the same one it was
The
before?
one engage with escape.
Okay. Well, yeah.
What?
Good Lord.
Oh, wow. It's a nice toll.
That's a really nice toll.
The bells are somehow louder this time.
That's a
Amos' turn.
cantrip doing 21 points of damage, for heaven's
It's
sakes.
pretty good.
Anything else, Amos?
No, that'll be it.
Okay, Angus.
Ungus is going to wind up on the one within his reach.
Not much space for winding up, but let's see if you've got the measure of the
Jabby
space. Ooh, you do have the measure of the
25
space.
and 15.
Ouch.
And then he's going to
These
do it
guys are
again.
These guys are looking really, really bad. Ooh, ouch, ouch, ouch. This
For 8. And 22 for
He's
9.
gonna bleed out.
Back of his pole.
And you have a dead body on the floor in front of Connor.
Connor's seen many of them.
Yep. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, Ungus says, back to bed.
Okay, Vila. What are you and Connor gonna do?
Connor's gonna step on the body. He's gonna go back. He's gonna step on the body again, and then move over here.
Okay, are you gonna try and
Vila's going to
lance that?
use her
Yes,
lance.
you are.
15.
Ooh, you just managed to scrape across its back. Yes, and yeah. Okay, that takes us out of combat. Okay, so you've got 2 dead bodies on the floor here, and you're starting to hear sounds of from other places in the train.
I'll start searching this one closest to me, see if I can figure out any clues, who they are, what they're doing, anything like that.
When you say we hear things on the other parts of the train, as if they're reacting to us,
Yeah, sounds
or that somebody
of
else is getting
alarm.
attacked.
No, sounds of alarm and people starting to, well, what's going on, and you're expecting staff to head your
Gotcha.
direction soon. Okay, well, so going through them, one of them has a little token. And well, the first thing you notice is once you get the mask off, these are the 2 that half elves that had taken an interest in you before. And the male has a token in his pocket that looks like an emerald claw. And as you dig through,
Oh,
they actually have quite a bit of gold and a bunch of these little vials on them.
I'll say to my compatriots, hey, you remember those Emerald Claw folks that we ran into back in, was it Sanctuary? Whatever the name of the town was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah, these guys apparently
Salvation?
are with them. Salvation, yeah, that's the word.
Salvation, right. Yeah, Sanctuary,
Yeah.
Salvation, whatever.
Yeah. And just a DM reminder that I have that lovely story word where this Emerald Claw loves me to death. Or
Yeah,
at least,
well,
they
that's
hope to death.
yeah. They seem
I
to
don't
be
know if that'll
trying.
matter or
What'd you
not,
do
but it's
now?
just throwing that up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Well, so if you count up the gold, there seems to be 500 gold total, and 5 of these vials. I need to take a quick look and see. Do you know what these are? Actually, this is tier 2. You probably do know what they are. These vials look somewhat familiar. Actually, do you know what they are? You don't quite. They look somewhat familiar, but you don't quite know what they are.
Do they seem magical?
Oh, this is in one of those tricky areas, sort of. Yeah. They look sort of similar to the potions of healing you've seen, but not quite.
Best not drink these.
Yeah, I say we just hold on to them for now.
Yeah.
I'll take a little sniff of a vial and then a sniff of one of their weapons. Do they smell the same?
No.
Okay.
The weapons are clearly
Just think maybe
poisoned.
Right. That's what I was guessing. Maybe it was a poison vial. Different, huh? Okay.
No, and if you were to sniff one of your potions of healing, if you have one, it's more similar to that.
I've heard of potions that seem to heal, but actually harm.
What's the point of that?
Just be
Trickery
stinky.
and foul play.
Hello, assassins.
Do you think these were the acrobats that Angus fancied?
Oh, it's them for sure. Or somebody looks just like them.
Aye.
I wish I
Well,
hadn't cleaned up that wine
I missed
stain.
that.
We could know for sure.
So we think it's them.
yeah.
Yeah.
You do.
Yes,
What
it's
should we
them.
do with the bodies?
I suppose we wait for what passes for a guard on this train, or do we tuck them away for now?
Angus opens the window in his chamber.
Throw them out the side.
A fit burial for an assassin.
Okay, so they get tossed out the window. All right.
Arlek contemplates keeping his concentration on the branding smite, so it's a glowing body that goes out the window.
Okay.
But not to.
All right. So a porter does come in and looks around and is looking down and sees you with weapons out and so forth and looks is everything okay?
Aye, of
It is
course.
now.
What makes you think it'd be any different?
Well, we heard
W-
barking and bells ringing and a cacophony and clatters and
We're a traveling
there's
band.
blood on the floor there, isn't it?
Oh, don't worry. My friend got a bit eager in his halberd dance. We're
You haven't
just
had a lot of
practice-
you haven't had a lot of dwarven passengers, have you?
Yeah.
Somebody
This is
give me a
Amos talking in his
persuasion
boxers.
here.
While Brandy's still in her room, she's gonna quickly cast disguise self on herself and make herself look like a rich, useless woman, and kind of peek her head out the door and said, "Well, it took you fine long enough to get here, didn't it? You
Oh,
don't
yes.
have any business asking questions of these saviors of innocent women." And then I'll duck back in.
So sorry, ma'am. And he's all obsequious. It's like it doesn't even occur to him that you're not in the rich and wealthy part of the it's like, oh, sorry, ma'am. I'll be on my way right now. Yes. So clearly fine. Everything's good. Bye. He leaves.
That was fun.
Are you going to attempt to rest the rest of the night?
I think
so.
I am.
Need my
Sure.
sleep.
Okay.
This appearance doesn't come naturally.
Need your beauty rest, yes. Okay, and you managed to get through the rest of the night just fine. And in the morning, in the morning, breakfast is served in the dining hall. Are you going to attempt to talk to people again, or shall we move along?
It's pretty much the same people, right?
Well, yeah, you're all sort
You
of
don't
stuck on the
notice
train
anybody
together.
different. Yeah,
No, you
other
don't.
than the now missing acrobats.
Yes, the now missing acrobats, yes. But beyond that, yeah, it's all the same people that there were last night.
I'll go into that car just to grab something with caffeine in it
Okay, let me move people back over to that car.
and see if anybody's. I won't actually engage anybody, but kind of listen to see if anybody's talking about last night.
One of the women is sort of complaining about the noise, but doesn't seem to really think too much about it. I mean, it's more, oh, so annoying, these public conveyances. They let anybody on board, and then you just know you're going to get all sorts of disturbances in the night. And who has bells on a train anyway? I mean, really?
Angus is going to walk in just his underwear and try to get a coffee. Good morning, everyone. Top of the morning. Where's the caffeine?
And you're given a cup of steaming hot coffee, and it's actually pretty decent coffee, too.
And take this to my room.
Okay.
Amos smells the coffee. He's busy putting his armor on, but he joins the group in the dining car and gets a coffee for himself.
Okay.
Angus gets dressed.
So mid-morning.
We appreciate that, Angus.
So mid-morning, the overnight rail from Sharn glides into Wroat on a glorious morning. Is this a black screen?
Yeah.
It is.
I suspected that because it was more shadowed than I thought it should be. Oh, okay, try. Ah, there we go. Now it should look like a map?
Yes, it does.
Okay, perfect. The capital of Breland sprawls over opposing banks of the Howling River with tall arching bridges spanning the river between. In the center of the city, the half-mile-high edifice of Broken Blade Castle, that would be this, rises from an artificial island in the river. And this is, Wroat here is somewhat smaller than Sharn, but it is impressive in its own right. You can tell the docks are very busy. There's all sorts of longshoremen moving goods around to and fro, and it's very, very busy. It feels prosperous. It feels like a bustling metropolis. And actually, you guys come in. The Lightning Rail station's over here. Okay, so what are you guys gonna do now that you're here? It's mid-morning.
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
Where can we go to learn more about this party?
Well, you know the party is on a ship, so you probably want to go over to the dock areas of town. You could also look for servants of wealthy people around. You could, things like that.
I'm just looking at the things that are labeled. What is the Parliament Wall? I would have expected that to be a wall, not a building.
I have no idea. I think I picked
Okay.
this up
Not
from
relevant.
the
Got
Eberron
it.
wiki. Yeah, it was not part of the module. I picked it up from the Eberron wiki. So
All good.
all good. Yes, nothing labeled on the map has any bearing except for the trade station.
Got it.
So Angus looks up at the rest, humbly says, "Well, I'm not hoity-toity, but maybe I can pass as a servant on the boat. Maybe all of us can pass as servants on the boat. Staff."
I can do that. I could also pass as hoity-toity, as long as they didn't look too closely at me. And
We
kind of remember
didn't
I
actually
looked
have
a
a
little.
way of getting in the party, right?
Not that we know of yet, I don't think.
Okay.
Not that I remember.
I get is there a guild hall for Kundarak here somewhere?
This being the capital of Breland, I am sure there is. Let's go ahead and place. And Gondrak, is that
I
a
would roll
merchant
that.
house? Is that a merchant house?
That's the house regarding banks and security and all that stuff.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that'd be here. Sure.
you would definitely find a guild house somewhere in the center of town, because it would serve all of the. It would serve basically all of the nobility, all the merchants, all the everything. So yes.
Okay, then since I am an agent of said house, I'm not just related, but I actually work there.
Mhm.
I'll go and see if there's a way that I can secure us either straight up admission or maybe being assigned to a security detail of some kind.
Oh, very interesting. Okay.
We definitely look
great
like
idea.
security detail.
Yeah.
And considering it's a dwarven house, it makes sense for us to have a whole bunch of dwarves there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you get to the guild hall, and you kind of know who to ask about. You're looking for somebody sort of knowledgeable of the hoity-toity of the area, which is actually the hoity-toity of the kingdom here. So, let's see, who would be a good person for that? Well, there would be an agent in charge, I'm sure, of the guild hall. This being the capital, would probably be a full guild master, and who would be willing to give you an audience, of course. Ah, yes. Yeah, because you're actually named for the house too. So.
Yeah, I've got the signet ring and all that jazz.
Yeah, young Master Arlek. Yes, of course. What can I do for you?
Master, I so much appreciate you taking time to speak with me. I understand that you're busy, so I'll get right to the point. We're sort of on a delicate mission wherein we kind of need to get into the armistice party on the boat I think it's on. I was wondering if there was a way we could secure entrance as actual guild representatives. I would, of course, represent us in the best possible way and provide any services that are actually required of us.
Well, as a member of the house and with your papers and signet ring, you of course could attend the party. It is a party for nobility, and basically they have it open. Anyone who can show their papers and who's dressed appropriately can attend the party as a guest. So you certainly could.
Wonderful.
And of course, your friend Miss Dulerander here, she could, I'm sure, as well.
Yes.
The
Yes,
rest
I'm
of
sure I
you,
could.
I doubt you'd be able to get on. They do have, they normally have knights guarding the dock and the ship.
Do you think perhaps we could get a temporary writ and assign them as our retinue, perhaps?
I doubt, because the ship isn't that large. I doubt it is not common to have retinues on the boat itself during the party. And you might be able to have them as hands on the docks. But I'm sure the servants for the party have already been assigned.
Interesting. Well, you have certainly provided a lot of valuable information and some things I hadn't even considered. You do credit to your position, Guildmaster.
Thank you, Master Arlen. Is there any other service I can perform for you here?
I don't believe so, but I appreciate your time. And perhaps I'll see you again before I leave.
Excellent, excellent. I look forward to it.
Alrighty, 2 out of 5 done.
So that was a great idea, and perhaps I could speak with my guild hall, since we control most of the shipping both by water and air. Perhaps I can get the rest of us in as ship hands, or at the very least dock hands, so we can be present. If that sounds good to you guys, unless somebody else has another idea.
It seems fine.
Right. Very good. So I'll find the House Lirindar facility, which I'm sure there would be one here on one of the docks in the capital.
Yes, absolutely. And actually, as you head over towards there, you do see you practically pass by a ship. There's a dock with a ship there that is all decked out in fancy and finery, and it looks like if you crane your necks a bit to get a look at and sure enough, it is called the Montulate. So it's like, aha, that is the ship we're talking about. And so the offices of House Lyrandar are just half a block away from that.
Oh, very good. Then I will follow my friend's lead and find the guild hall manager, or whatever he's
Mm-hmm.
called here, and see if we can arrange some presence on the ship as hands, or you always need people running the kitchens or whatever we can do.
Ah, Miss Brandy, how nice of you to grace us. Are you here for the ball?
Yes, I am,
Well,
but I'm also sadly here on some business.
oh, such a shame, such a shame. You're definitely going to want to change, though, before you go to the do, I'm sure.
Oh, of course, that's no problem. My friends here are part of the business I spoke of, and we were actually on a rather um, kind of a fact-finding mission. We have reason to believe that there could be some sort of trouble during the event, and we've
No.
been commissioned. Oh, well, hopefully not, but we've been commissioned to keep an eye on things. And I was hoping we could find a way to keep an eye on things aboard the ship. Myself and my dwarf friend here can certainly attend as house representatives. But the others, I thought perhaps we can get them on board as crew members, or extra staff for the event or something like that. Can that be arranged?
Well, they do have servants. They do have the warehouse just right across from their dock is where they've staged all of the decorations, the refreshments, all the various supplies and things. And so they have had their staff members going back and forth between there and the ship quite often. I'm sure that you could certainly look into that possibly.
Hmm. If I know dock hands, a few silver passed from hand to hand will easily convince them to trade places with us for a while.
I suspect you are right about that, and you know just the way. I mean, I've heard of you, Miss Brandy, and you know just the way to get to people, I am sure.
Well, I had good practice when I was slinging drinks.
And that's pretty much what the staff would be doing on a party ship such as this tonight.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you very much. And please also keep our mission confidential, because obviously
Of
if
course.
if something happens, we're there to take care of things. And if nothing happens, we don't want any embarrassment on it.
Of course, I understand completely. Mum is the word. Discretion
Excellent.
is
Thank
my
you so
middle
much.
name.
That's an unusual name. I love it.
And as you go back out, you can see the ship, and it's a grand galleon built from dark oak with bright crimson sails, and it's bobbing gently there at the riverside. And on the deck, you see servants wearing red uniforms lined with gold thread, decorating the ship with lanterns and pennants bearing the coats of arms of the 5 nations. And the fabric waves in the wind and glints as the shimmering thread catches the sunlight. And the name that you saw earlier, where it said Montulate, was painted in golden calligraphy. Beautiful setup. You can see 4 knights standing on guard at the gangplank, only moving aside to let the servants board or leave the ship. And based on what you know of I'm going to give you. It's a basic
Oh,
layout of a
that's cool.
basic layout of a galleon, and you can pretty easily see this. You can see this easily from the dock. You got the gangplank going up. There are doors with. Oops! Here I am trying to gesture, and you can't see me gesturing. There's doors with there's clearly rooms and stuff beneath the forecastle, and I have no idea how to pronounce these nautical terms. I should have looked that up. And the after castle, and there's stairs down into a hold in the middle, but it's pretty clear that it's all set up. The main part of the party is going to be on the main deck. Okay, so. And I did try to find a nice image for that, but I couldn't. I need to make some more artist friends is what I need to do. And commission a whole bunch of art. Okay. So how are you
are
approach this?
3 of us gonna try to get into the dock workers, and the 2 of us with credentials get on the boat, or do we want to stay together?
No, we should split up.
Always split the party.
That's always what.
Fragmented.
Always.
There's 5 of you. We can go 5 different
Especially if
directions.
half of the party is on a vehicle that can move.
Well, I think she said that the warehouse is where they're storing the party supplies. So as some of the workers come into the warehouse to get supplies, that's when we'll bribe them, switch uniforms for the 3 of you, and then you can get onto the boat. That's what I was thinking.
There we go. That works.
And the other 2 of us just look pretty and walk on.
We have this too.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I have one of those too.
Ooh.
So yeah, lots of ways to get in there.
Okay.
Yeah. We try getting you uniformed up. Do this. What is the name of this place? Wroat's 5.
Yeah, Wroat is the name. Wroat is the name of the city. Okay, so where are you going? You've now taken probably a couple hours. It's early afternoon at this point.
Let's see. We could try to find out information about the Dark Lanterns or the Silver Torch or the Rayland King's brother, I think was the other clue that, or even the Dog of War, all these things that Flamewind told us about. We could hit some bars and try to, buy drinks and get info, something like that.
A drink sounds nice.
Right.
That's true.
Are you going to spend any time observing the traffic in and out of the boat?
Because some of us don't have a way in exactly yet. We have a plan, but we don't have a way in, right?
Right. Probably be good to see what the servants do coming on and off, so that would make sense.
Okay, give me a round of perception checks. Ooh, my, Arlek sees all the things. All right, so Arlek, you are looking at this with a kind of professional eye, looking at the guards and looking at the traffic and, looking at the gear that they have and all. And so you notice the 4 knights standing outside of the gangway are looking kind of tired and antsy, and they're looking like they're getting kind of irritable and snapping at some of the servants going up and down. The servants are walking back and forth I've got the uniforms as discussed earlier to the nearby warehouse, and so they clearly take are taking empty things to the warehouse, gathering, and they're more heavily laden as they head back to the ship. You don't see any guards or anything around the warehouse. You just see the pretty steady traffic as they're setting stuff up. You can see the main deck of the ship is swathed in military banners and pennants, and commemorating all the various regiments that fought in the last war. You can see rigging is done up in with sort of arcane lamps that have got prepped that have got glowing and shifting hues of color that you can tell are going to be really pretty after dark. If you get a reasonably good sight, kind of looking, you see that the servants are going pretty steadily. Let's see, on the map into the. Oh, now I have to look. Which way was it that they're going? I think they're going into the rooms in the forecastle. Yes, they are. So the ones in the bow of the ship, there's pretty steady servant traffic in that way. Almost none at all to the cabins in the aft of the ship, but the back of the ship.
Okay.
Let's see.
Do the guards just seem aggravated that they have to do this job, or they seem like, it's the end of shift and their replacements haven't arrived yet, kind of thing?
Give me either insight or something intelligence based.
Well, I mean, if I could do intelligence based, I'm gonna do that. That wasn't great.
Okay. Yeah. It kind of looks like end of shift. Late in the shift, kind of tired.
Gotcha. Okay.
And, from your opinion, they're likely going to be replaced with very fresh guards in time for the party.
Alrighty. And I'll pass along any of that information.
You get down.
I thought you were whispering to us.
I know.
No,
I hope that was
cat
a
was trying to
kitty.
climb up the back of the chair.
Yeah, kitty.
That's why we have push to talk, folks.
Oh.
So Angus taps his halberd and says, "What if we intercepted the new guards?"
I like the sound of that. Subdue him, perhaps? Or get him drunk?
Ooh.
Are they mercenary, or are they like?
Are they in like the town livery?
Royal guards kind of thing?
No, they look like probably members of a retinue of a noble house. I mean, they look like knights who know what they're doing.
Or we could just disappear.
Right.
Yeah, but eventually you'll have to reappear.
By then we'll be in.
It's a small boat.
We're masters of stealth, don't you know? Clank, 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 clank.
Something invisible is going clank, clank, clank.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Well, which group do you think you could pass yourself off as, or do you want to go with the invisibility plan? Because even invisible, we'd have to get up the gangplank without setting anybody off.
There's rigging on the side. We could climb up
Mm.
it.
Yeah.
Just, I don't think it lasts very long, so you have to, get into probably into the aft castle somewhere and take some hiding or something.
Yeah. I did like the idea, though, of trying to do some reconnaissance on the situation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we've got a little time before the party starts, I think.
Yeah.
okay. So if we want to try to go get somebody drunk, I'm up for it.
Yeah, it'd be great if we could somehow figure out where these
But
guards
it could
are going
even
to
be
come from.
somebody outside of the party.
I was going to say, besides Angus?
Yeah, figuring out the guards, figuring out servants, and figuring out the situation. So, which one do we want to go for first? Try to waylay the guards?
I feel like we'd pass as better cards than anything else. Plus, it enables us to,
Keep your weapons.
yeah, there's that.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel like this is the "Don't Wear Your Armor" trilogy.
You're right.
Yeah.
Just trying to get you into a broader skill set, right? You know, we want diversity of play in the course of a series.
So I guess which one do we want to go for first? Try to find the guardhouse where their replacements might be coming from. Yeah.
Maybe look to see the relief duty, like try to find out if we can spread out and see if we can identify who they are, or
We
just
could
scout.
even try to ask one of them.
Yeah. When's you look like you could use a drink. When you're off.
Yeah.
Maybe we should. Maybe the dwarf shouldn't ask that question.
Somebody's really trying hard this session.
Yeah. You're not really my type, but take what I can get.
Well, Brandy could try the same tactic, and it may or may not be more effective. You just never know.
You never know.
But she can try.
I think Amos will lay his hand on Brandy's shoulder and try to guide her.
Aye.
There's a note in stream chat from Cody. Got this stream going in the background while working on my paper. Every once in a while I try to talk and I'm like, oh right, not in here.
Nice.
Guidance. Okay, who are you guidancing?
So
Brandy.
Brandy will approach one of the guards. It's probably the nearest to wherever we are, and try to engage him in a little conversation. Say, "Hey, how you doing there? It's a hot day, isn't it?" It's so hot.
Okay. The guard you're speaking to somewhat scowls. I don't know why my computer's doing that. Let's try.
Right now, I'm just basically wearing my sea captain kind of clothing. It's nice clothing, but I'm not, dressed for the ball yet.
Can I
Not sea
help
captain.
you, ma'am?
Well, I understand these events can be pretty boring. I'm supposed to go there later, family obligation sort of thing. But I was hoping, hopefully, you're off duty soon enough. We can go get a real drink before, I have to go back on the ship. You look like you're bored of this. Thought maybe you could stand a nice round or two.
And he gives you a
And
look like, ooh.
plus a D4.
Okay, so he's looking a little bewildered. Kind of glances at one of the other knights there with him. Do I know you, ma'am?
No, I'm new to town, but I usually find the most interesting people are the ones who live and work here and are in positions where they, hear the good gossip and stuff. So, I'd love to buy you a drink. Your friends can come too, whatever works. Just to have a little fun before the boredom of the party starts. Name's Brandy, by the way.
Hi, I'm Corin. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Corin. Is there, a decent place somewhere nearby that, hope you get off of your shift soon. But someplace nearby we can duck in and I'll get to know the town a little bit and get to know each other a bit. What do you think?
And one of his mates is kind of snickering behind him, and he kind of reddens at that.
I'll wink
Yeah,
at the mate.
we get off in when our relief comes in a couple of hours or so, and he's looking quite uncomfortable.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. That'll be, well before I need to join the party. So, where can I meet you? Or should I just come back out here in a couple hours and we'll walk to the tavern. Whatever works best.
Well, there's the singing sprite down the dock about a couple 100 feet. It's popular.
That sounds great. I'll just kind of lay my hand on his shoulder a little bit and say, I look forward to it. We'll see you in a couple hours. And I'll walk away with a little swing.
And you can hear his mates ribbing him back there behind. Okay. So now what?
I'll come back and I'm not quite sure what I achieved, but I do know that their relief is supposed to be here in a couple hours. So they'll be standing guard for that long. And
Right, did you
I'm gonna
find
meet
out
'em-
who the relief was?
Nope, didn't get that. Didn't
Right.
know where the relief's coming from either. Guess I wasn't thinking very good. But at least one of these guys is going to meet me at the so-and-so bar in a couple hours.
The singing sprite.
Singing Sprite.
I
If
only
he
have
mentioned
one
that bar, that
uniform.
might be a hangout where he and his cohorts frequent often. So that might be a good place to start. If I was coming on guard duty for a party that I don't get to join, I'd get rip roaring first. So the relief might be there. Maybe.
So, Brandy and Arlick, give
hurt.
me history checks to see if you recognize the House of the Knights. Arlick, while Brandy was doing that, thinking about it, you've got a pretty good idea of which house those knights are from. And it's pretty clear they're wearing their house livery, not the livery of, like the town guard or anything like that.
Is it one of the groups that we're concerned with, or is it a third party?
So it is one of the noble houses, pretty well connected. Actually, I can give you a house name. It is House Starn.
Okay.
And as you think about it, looking at the pennants and all of the various houses and the military units and things that have been part of the last war. You can also see that they were clearly in that too. So they're clearly well involved with this.
Alrighty. Once Brandy's done with her conversation, I'll communicate that, and maybe we just need to find where that house is, and there we'd find where the guards are from.
That sounds good.
I
Okay.
So I'll pull out the Houses of Wroat yellow pages and find the address.
And you actually find that House Starn is the house of the city's governor. So this is not the king. This is the governor of the city itself.
Gotcha.
And so that, given the prominence there, you could pretty easily guess that House Starn is essentially acting as the hosts of the ball this year. And so you're pretty easily able to find, do the Starns live at the palace? They probably do. I mean, not in the main central keep of the palace, but they probably also have a house in the town. So you're gonna go try and check them out?
Yeah, I think we'll go find where the
Yeah.
main house for Starn is, or where would we think they'd resupply the guards from.
Okay. Well, and ask her, but I mean, between you guys are knowledgeable enough around dock hands, and between your house agent contacts and so forth, you're able to find they're probably guessing that the guards are probably coming from the house rather than from the castle itself, where it was the actual house livery rather than the royal livery. And so you're able to find your way as to where the estate is, kind of in one of the really snazzy areas. We'll say, let's see, this area looks, anyways. It is going to be on the central island, and it's a very nice mansion with actual greenery and something of a yard. And yeah, it looks like there's guards at the house that kind of match the livery of the guards at the boat.
On our way there, I'll say, don't know if this is a good idea, but it might be a plan. We have these 5 suspicious vials and, only 4 guards that we need to take place of. So, I'm just saying, something to keep in mind. I don't know what they do, but, it might give us a chance to do something.
maybe we try to sell them these files. As I don't know.
Or offer them a drink and spike it. I don't know. We'll see.
Drink up the vials.
Drink.
I could drink a potion of healing. It looks similar, and say, "Here you go. You can have one too." It tastes great. It makes you feel good.
You're really suspicious of these vials.
Well, it might not do anything. I don't know.
Okay.
It might kill him outright, and I don't really want that, but you never know.
So you're approaching the house. What are you guys gonna do?
Well, Brandy, if you could manage to get them all to take their clothes off, we could take their clothes.
I'm not that kind of
Charge
girl.
into the boat.
Well, maybe I am. I don't know.
Oh. So, are you going to just
Okay,
mill
maybe not
around
the best idea.
Are you just going to mill around in the street in front of this noble house?
Does it look like they're essentially more busy than we would expect the house to be?
Hard to say
Or is
from
it
hard
sort
to
of
say.
calm?
It's very hard to say from the front. The front of a house would always be very calm. If you go around to the mews in the back, you can kind of see that's where any sort of servants, military, where any sort of action would be is back in the mews.
Let's go check back there,
Yeah.
keeping a somewhat distance.
Us suspicious?
Of course not.
And you can see that there's it looks like there's some it looks like there's some mustering, some coordination going on, and if you listen you can recognize that it sounds like they brought in additional knights and so forth in order to provide additional security for the night, and they're sort of giving the briefings and sort of getting them straightened out there.
Does anybody want to be new hires?
Yeah, you guys can probably just blend in and get some temporary library issued, and yeah, it'll be fine.
Aye.
Hi.
Sounds like a plan. Are they all
I've always
humans? Is
wanted
there,
to be
like,
knighted.
a racial homogeny to them, or is it a diverse set of races here?
There does seem to be a certain amount of diversity. It looks like it's a little over half human, but there's a smattering of others. You can see a couple of other dwarves. You'll see, looks like there's a couple of half orcs. They're kind of light on the elves, but there's even a gnome in there.
All right, well, we'll see what we can do about getting our official uniforms as new conscripts.
Okay.
Yeah, Angus is going to rush up and say, "Sorry, I'm late. Where's my uniform?"
Shush, cousin.
Give me
Let me
deception.
do the talking.
Give me deception. Or persuasion or anything charisma based, guys. Deception would be
Alright.
good.
I'm gonna try persuasion.
Okay.
But I'm seeking Onitar's guidance on this one.
Okay.
What am I doing? Deception.
Oops, that went twice. Sorry.
Okay. Well, Onathar is blessing you on this.
Oh my
Oh, God.
And Vila, what are you doing?
I'm watching. This all happen.
The guard captain. The guard captain is looking at Ungus and going, "Who are you, and what are you doing here?"
Right. Yeah. Supposed to be getting knighted. Yeah. Right.
Who's your commanding officer?
Him. I point to Amos.
Well, and Amos looks blessed and looks like he fits in, and so he looks at it and let me get a wisdom here. Ooh. So he's looking at it. So he's with you?
Aye, forgive me, cousin. He's thin of wit, but strong of arm.
You realize this is a due for the elite of the elite. We were only supposed to send the best.
He can best any one of your men.
But It's not likely that we're going to have fighting. We need people who can be deferential.
Oh, he's mighty deferential. Aren't Angus?
Give me deception
Angus
on
tries
that.
a curtsy.
Oh, give me deception on that. Okay, and he gets advantage because he's already suspicious.
And Angus tries a
Yeah,
curtsy.
he's not buying it. It's like, no,
You
you're
never
not
know
what
when
you are.
trouble may strike. I can keep him quiet.
Fine, we'll have you guard at the house here, and that'll free up someone else to be at the boat tonight.
Of course.
You're looking a little scruffy, though. Do you clean up well?
Ah, of course. Tighten up the beard a bit. Shave the sideburns.
And one of the other dwarves over there looks absolutely shocked at such a suggestion. It's like, oh no, man, you can't do that.
Just tidy it up, I mean.
All right. Yeah, all right. We'll assign
Take
you
off
here.
the long curly bits.
Yeah, all right. We'll have you here at the house. And for right now, you can go over there and make sure that each of these guys has, the equipment that they need and the delivery and stuff. It's over in that shed right over there. And kind of points you over to a shed. You get these guys set up. As I send them into you, you get these guys set up, and then you can, when they head out to the boat, you can set up here.
Very well, thank you.
So
Whispered Amos. We're better at breaking skulls than this sort of thing.
Are there people? Do we know if there are people at the boat right now?
there are servants at the boat. You saw, the guards out in front, and you saw the servants coming and going. There might have been, someone acting, directing all of it, but you didn't notice it when you were there.
And then I'm just gonna suggest to everyone, I'm gonna head to the boat and then hide in a barrel.
Ah, that old chestnut. That'll probably work too. Let me get dressed. I'll be right along.
Amos, why didn't we think of that?
You wouldn't fit in a
Fit us
barrel.
in a barrel.
You wouldn't fit in a barrel. All right,
Your
so
halberd be sticking out the top.
so Arlick and Brandy are gonna go in their party duds, and Amos and
Yep.
Ungus are stuck at the house unless they can figure out a way. So they're among the guards. So Vila, are you?
We're dressed though to fit in, right? Even though we are ostensibly on house detail.
Well, you're the one handing out the livery and so forth to the others coming through. So yeah, you could pretty easily grab a set for yourself. Yeah.
Nip a couple of them.
Uh-huh. Okay, so Vila, are you going to check out is anyone going with her at the moment as she goes to check out the warehouse?
Yeah, I'll go with her.
Sure.
We'll
Okay.
be along. Go ahead.
Okay. So as you come up to the warehouse, you're seeing a pretty steady stream. As you get close to it, you can hear a couple of people sort of barking orders around. One seems to be directing things around decorations, and one seems to be like the caterer, directing food and drink type stuff as to supplies to be taken to the ship. They're all wearing the red uniforms with the gold trim on it.
I'm going to put I'll put something onto Connor, and it's gonna say, I'll magically tinker something that says bomb sniffer, and it'll be like a collar. And I'll just walk with Connor onto the boat as if I'm supposed to be there.
Okay. So, what sort of skill do you use for doing magical tinkering?
It's just my skill, I guess. It's an artificer thing.
Okay. Let's see.
It's just
magical
a thing I
tinkering.
can do.
Okay.
I can.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so you come up and there are 4 guards standing across the bottom of the gangplank. And they just let a couple of servants through, but they close it back up right before Connor. Can we help you?
Yeah, I was hired to check the boat for any bombs. Make sure it's safe for the party tonight.
Where's your
Let me
authorization?
through. I was sent by the city guard. Check with your supervisor and stop wasting my time.
The city guard, what are they doing with this? We weren't told about that. It's
Where do you
House
think you get your
Starn.
permits? Where do you think House Starn gets their permits?
Give me persuasion or deception on that. Thank you for the follow, Stephen Jacobs.
That's
Wrong one. That's perception.
Oh.
Let's try persuasion or deception.
Oh no.
Let's see. You have a -1, so it would have been a 15 on that first one because you rolled a 16. He sort of looks you. They look you up and down and say, "How long is it gonna take?"
Just a few minutes, and I'll teleport off this boat.
No teleportation, madam. What's her name? Madam Narcy does not like that. There's going to be no magic tonight, and I'm sure she doesn't want magic in the setup now. She might even already be monitoring magic.
Okay.
You come back off here. You come back off here. Coming right by.
I'll do that.
Okay, and they'll part and let you onto the boat. And let's see, if we're going to do that, let me... move a few things out of sight. And I shall move you guys over to the boat map. So you can you can see what they're doing. Let me get some knights here. Knights.
Oh, there's multiple boats?
No, I'll explain to you what you're seeing here in a moment. It's multiple layers. So the one closest to the dock is the main deck layer. So that's the layer you come in on. The one in the middle actually only has the front part, the upper levels of the front part and the bottom part, and down here it's looking down at the main part of this boat. And then this is the lower hold. So this middle part here isn't really here. It's just the fore and the aft on the upper levels that have upper levels.
Okay.
And let's get your token out here. Let's see. Right. Let me copy you guys from the front page. Okay, Vila and Connor. And I gotta fetch my keyboard back.
Anybody up for a quick bio break?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I could do with refilling my cup. So we'll come back in about 6 minutes, top of the hour. Sound good?
Perfect.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So we shall be right back.
All right.
for those of you who've joined us while the group's on a quick break here, this fine group of folks donate on a monthly basis to Extra Life, which you can see information in the panels down below. So that supports the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. And so they generously donate every month, and then I run this game for them on that. So that's kind of the fun stuff. And if this sounds like fun to you, you can see details on how to donate and get this for yourselves too. So I think I hear them gathering back. We will be right back. Bye, Bree. Have a good night. Alrighty, so here we are. Okay, Vila, so they've bought it and the guards are going to move aside just a little bit to allow you to go up, and then they will close it up again afterwards. The bomb-sniffing dog.
I guess we're gonna just walk around the boat, see what we see.
Yeah. Okay. So, heading up there, that's obviously where it steers. It doesn't look like much is set up there. In that area, let me double check. Let's see. Up there, it looks like there's actually some chairs set up. It looks like there's going to be musicians up here. Okay. And in here, it's a little bit crowded, and there's a steady stream of servants going in and out. As you come in here, this is clearly where they are staging food and drinks to go on, taking them off of the main trays, and, they're going to display them nicely here for the trays for servants to take around to the guests. It also looks like the back area is set up as kind of a break room area for the servants. Okay.
What are these three? Or I guess they're side rooms too.
Yeah, this area down here is clearly the captain's cabin.
What are
in
these
this area,
two rooms left?
Looks like storage areas.
Okay. And then if we go downstairs.
Okay. And down in the hold, let's see. We've got various. Looks like it's normally used for storage for trade goods. It seems to have been cleared out for the evening. They do have a red rope at the top of the stairs that are, looks like they're not going to encourage, party goers down here. It's been pretty well cleared out down here. There's rope, lanterns, empty barrels normally used for storage. Up in that area, it looks like that's where the officers' quarters are. They're kind of cramped. They've got bunk, desk, locker. Everything's unlocked. Everything's unlocked. It looks like anything valuable's been very much secured away.
Are these big chests? Can
those
hide inside it?
These are desks.
Oh, these chests on the side.
Those chests. They are pretty full of personal belongings.
Are there two open barrels here? Or hollow barrels?
There are some empty barrels around.
Each of us are gonna go into a barrel.
Okay.
And just hang out.
And after some time, maybe 20 minutes or so, you hear heavy footsteps and muttering, and where did that lady go? Where did she go with that dog? Bomb sniffer. They've surely checked the whole place by now. Where are they? And you hear a guard. I'll move a guard over here. Looking like going into places, heading up into the cabins ahead, looking around and muttering.
I'm going to cast Minor Illusion directed over here.
Okay.
Which I think is about 30 feet, and have it say, she just jumped off the boat.
A little over 30 feet.
Oh, sorry. We'll make it just in the direction towards this then, from where he was standing.
And it said what? She just jumped off?
Yes, she just jumped off the side of the boat.
And he comes rushing up, and he comes rushing and stomping up the steps and up into the main area, and is looking around, and he looks at the servants, and it's like, who said that? Did you see? Did you hear? What happened? Where? Did you see the woman with the dog?
Are there any holes in, can I see outside?
Not from the hold, no.
Not from the hold? I don't think I can.
Yeah, you don't want holes in that part of the boat.
Or the circles.
The portholes? Yeah, no, there are not any portholes down here.
Oh, that's not gonna work. Oh well, that's it. That's all I can.
Okay, so there's kind of an alarm starting up, and another one comes and joins the search, and they're gonna have two sitting right there, but they are now on alert, and they're starting to very thoroughly search and question the servants. And someone says, "I think I saw them go down into the hold." Did you see them come back up? And everybody's kind of shaking their heads. Nobody happened to see you come back up. So they're going to come down and they're going to start. They're going to start at the stern and work their way forward. And they're actually searching. They are opening crates, opening barrels, and they are working their way forward.
Brandy's going to, seeing the kind of the hubbub on the dock, out of sight, quickly cast disguise self to look like a noble woman of some repute, and work her way up to the ship, and with kind of a haughty attitude, and trying to move quickly and saying, "What's all the fuss? Let's get this party started. Move out of the way, guards. Let me through. Let me through."
Where's Brandy's token? Here's Brandy's token.
And I'll just be trying to kind of draw attention to myself for the most part. Like somebody with too much money and not enough common sense.
And so the guards are going, excuse me, ma'am, it's another hour or so. It won't be until almost supper time. They're not ready for actual guests yet.
Do you recognize this signet ring? I'm with House Lirindar. Of course, they want me on this boat early to make sure everything is in perfect condition.
I think that's Madame Narcy that's doing that. I don't think.
Well, yes, but we work together, of course. Who knows boats better than I? Your supervisor will hear about this.
And about this time, one of the guards sort of looks over your shoulder and sort of smiles in some relief. Oh, there she is right now. And she's coming up.
Oh,
and
excellent.
And she's coming up and going, yes, can I help you? We'll be starting the party in, likely an hour or so.
Oh, excellent. I'm glad you're here. I was trying to explain to your guards here that I wanted to go make sure that everything was set up perfectly. I know you're doing a wonderful job, but I know ships, and I know that things can easily topple and fall over with the slightest disturbance in the surf or the current or whatever. So I was trying to make sure things were set up for a perfect event for you. But they don't want to let me through.
Well, yes, but I assure you, everything has been cleared out except for the things that need to be here.
Oh, you're hopeless. I'll see you in a while then. Kind of storm off.
And she kind of looks after you for a bit. And she turns and talks to the guards in kind of a low voice. And she kind of looks after you kind of thoughtfully. And they actually part and let her onto the ship. Vila, do you have anything magical on you?
On me? Yeah. a lot of stuff.
He's like glowing with magic. Oh, gee.
The dog is magical too.
So after,
if something detects magic, I'm glowing. I'm glowing brightly.
Okay, so the knights are still working. That are down there are still working their way forward, and they're getting closer to you. So what are you doing?
I'm gonna imbue the barrel next to me that Connor's in with an odor that smells just like poop or something. And then in my barrel, I'm going to put a minor illusion at the top of it above my head to make it look like an empty barrel.
Okay, and as he comes over and he wrinkles his nose like, oh, there is something foul in this one. And the other guy comes over to take a look at it. Oh, you are right. We'd better get this off the ship. We can't have this here.
Oh, shit.
And so they start picking up the barrel. They pick up the barrel, and it's like, oh, what is that? I thought this stuff was all supposed to be empty. It's like, I don't know, but we got to get this thing out. We can't have this around at the party. And so they start carrying the barrel off. And they're muttering something about, did you see that? Did you see that woman? And it's like, I didn't. We'll send someone down to finish the search. Let me head up.
When they leave, I'm gonna get to a different box they already searched.
And so she's here.
I guess
The woman is going, oh, that is awful. Get that out of here. What is that reek? It's like, I don't know. We're taking it away. Don't worry, ma'am. And they're going to take it away down. And probably just dump it off the other side of the dock or some such.
I guess it's a good thing defenders don't have to breathe.
I don't know if they can. Do they? If you don't have swim speed, can you not swim?
It's usually just difficult terrain.
Oh, okay. Well, if there's no issue, then he's gonna swim to the other side of the boat with his rigging, and just hold on to it with his teeth.
Okay. So back at House Starn, there is a squad that is being mustered to head out to relieve the guards at the ship. And there are 6
Right.
of them that are getting ready to go. They're getting the final inspection. And not only is the captain of the guards looking them up and down, but what looks like it might be the house butler or seneschal or something like that is looking to make sure and making sure that their uniforms look absolutely perfect. Because, this is as much a ceremonial role as it is a functional role tonight. So he's very much checking on them.
Amos,
It's almost time, cousin.
what's the plan?
As soon as they depart shortly after, I shall suffer an injury and require urgent medical attention. You must take me out of this place under those auspices.
Right, perfect. Headbutt to the nose, is that what you're looking for?
Halberd poke to the eye was what I was thinking.
Sharp end or dull end? He's looking at you dead
Yeah.
serious.
You just wait. So shortly after they leave, Amos is going to alter the appearance of his eyes with thaumaturgy. And
That's not what thaumaturgy does.
It's funny. I didn't think that either, but it says it's the last bullet on there. It's the last choice.
Oh, sure enough.
So I feel like making one of them
That
blood red.
seems really
thing I
weird.
could do.
Okay. I wouldn't have thought that'd be well, I suppose that's a transmutation thing. Okay.
So one of Amos's eyes is now blood red, and he's, you idiot! Take me to a medic! And Ungus is clumsily stowing his weapons and trying to carry him out, and I'm flailing about and making a big deal of my blood red eye.
Give me deception. And meanwhile, the captain of the guard is snapping for, get the medic out here.
All right, so thaumaturgy does not require a concentration, so we're gonna go for the full Onatar on this one. Oh, it does it twice for some reason. You can choose the one you want to take.
Okay.
Seems like it does it twice at once. I'm gonna try another one. This is just an innocent one. This? Okay, maybe I'm just being impatient.
That is possible. We're kind of at peak time of the night, so that Roll20 does get a little laggish, and especially when it's the interface between D&D Beyond and Roll20.
Beyond, yeah.
Okay, so the a guard's running and hustling to get the medic now.
He he requires special medicine from a different doctor outside of here.
Yeah,
I got to get him out.
you give me a deception check too.
Shite. I'm going to shut my mouth. Oh, God.
Yeah. It's like, what is that up? But if you guys manage to hustle your way out, you can get your way out. He doesn't believe you at all, but by the time the medic gets there, you guys are gone. And it's like,
Run, Amos, run!
Two dwarves sprinting through the street in knight's finery.
Nothing to see here.
oh no,
Nothing to
no, that would be dreadful.
Let's look for a dark alley and try to. Hopefully, we're not being pursued. Like, try to catch our breath and
Okay, you are not being
cover our
pursued.
composure as my eye alteration fades away.
Okay,
Right.
so back on the ship then. All right, so yeah, you glow like magic. So you hear some soft footsteps coming down the stairs. And you see a woman, or you hear footsteps coming over to your chest, the chest that you are in. She's got okay. She doesn't have the one thing that I need her to have. So, since I need her to have it, she's going to have it. Ah, look at that. Now she has it. Okay. So you hear, Vila, you hear a soft voice that says, if you wish to retain your magic, you might want to give up the deception.
Oh, then I'll hop out.
Surprise!
You passed the test.
I'd ask
So
her,
she,
what do you mean?
She looks you up and down and says, where's your dog?
Oh, he was done with his job, so he left. But I really wanted to see the party, so I tried to stay.
I don't think that's necessary. And she sort of points towards the stairs. Are you going to go quietly or shall I call the guards?
I'll go quietly. Is she following me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And actually, as she gets up here, she kind of mutters something and she's thoughtful. And she goes and she looks over the side of the boat, too. Yeah. There. You. And she points at Connor and sort of gestures.
Then I guess he makes his way up. And then we both start to leave.
And the guards look somewhat relieved as you leave. Okay. Shortly after that, a very fine-looking group of knights comes smartly up to relieve that group. They have a nice exchange of information about the report, and these all smartly walk off that way. And so there are now 6 knights here guarding this entrance. And it is starting, it's late afternoon, and it is starting to, let's see, I should have some descriptions for the stuff here. Oh, that's going to be at twilight. It's not twilight yet, but the sun's getting a little on the low side. You know it's not going to be very long. Okay, so who's where?
So Amos and Ungus have regained their composure and are going to solemnly march down
Let me get some more
as
tokens.
as fortification for the night's event.
Excellent. Fortification pad. Get rid of you. All right, let's see here. I need to pick up. I'll pick up everybody and then delete off the duplicates. Let's see. We have Brandy. We have. Actually, I'll just move Fungus over here and then I'll pick up these. All right. Oh, nope, that's not the way to go. Alrighty. Okay, so, which means that Amos and Ungus would be coming from this direction where the knights were. Okay. Brandy and Arlick, where are you?
Brandy will be hanging out near the ship, more or less out of sight from guards there, but where I can watch for Amos and Ungus and anybody else to come back. And my plan in general is to wait till some party goers start showing up, and then once I have an idea where everybody in our party is, I'll ask to disguise self again to look slightly different, but still, somebody who would be appropriate for the party, and make my way to the ship
Okay.
when it's time for partiers to show up. And before I go, I will minor illusion, some kind of invitation or something that in case they ask for that. Keep it handy.
I think Arlak will actually try to get on as one of the first couple of guests, so we can kind of get the lay of the land. And he's just going to have his normal papers, signet ring, expecting to be able to just walk right on.
Okay, and how are you dressed?
In house clothing, not armored, but I'll have a weapon sort of stowed away, not necessarily out and about, but easy to get to.
Okay. Okay, so let's see here. As dim twilight falls over the docks, the shadows deepened by arcane lights tied to the ship resting near the waterside. The metallic thread woven into the ship's crimson sail glitters as lights cast their glow over it. And on the docks, dozens of guests are starting to line up and exchange pleasantries and they're working to board the ship. And the knights are checking each of them as they come, and they're looking for documentation of their pedigree. Their scrolls of pedigree as they come on, and as each one shows it, they're passed through and allowed to board onto the deck. So, Arlick, you're going to come up as one of the early ones?
Yep.
Okay. They sort of look you over, you're dressed appropriately, asks for your scroll of pedigree.
And I'll show my papers.
How well hidden is your weapon? What is your weapon and how's it hidden?
It's my warhammer, and it'll be just strapped to my back. He's not gonna try to necessarily hide it, just not make it not obvious.
Okay.
They'd be able to see it if they were looking for it.
Okay. So the guard who's looking at your paperwork, nods and all that, and he says, you should go put that away before you and come back without it. And he points to your warhammer.
I apologize. It is part of my raiment for my position. It's purely ceremonial.
Give me persuasion on that. And they've already had people trying to sneak in, so he gets to... Ooh, that's a pretty good one. He gets to attempt to oppose it. Okay. Yes, sir. And he lets you on board.
Alrighty. Do
Uh,
they make a big deal about
do you
Escape being with me?
He really frowns at Escape, but I mean it's a goat. Actually, he doesn't actually say much about that. He sort of looks at it puzzled, but doesn't really say anything about that.
Okay. And Escape will be very close to my side, not getting in anybody's way, that sort of thing.
Okay. Brandy?
And I'll just kind of mill around.
As part of my disguised self, I'm got all my armor on, my shield strapped to my back. My gown is designed to have faux wings on the back where the shield really is, so it just looks like wings there. That if they, if they bump into it, they'll think it's part of my costume. And I'm holding my scimitar in my left hand by the end of the pommels, and it's disguised to look like a fancy walking cane. And I will come up and show my papers and such.
Okay. And disguised magically or just disguised?
It's magic.
It is magic. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so as you come on, the guard looks at your papers and nods you through. However, as you get up onto the boat, this nice woman here approaches you.
Hello, dear. How are you this evening?
Yes, I am doing quite well. Are you sure you wouldn't rather go and change into something a little more appropriate?
Well, it's a bit embarrassing. On the way here, our stagecoach had a bit of an accident, and my my nicer clothes are damaged. Fortunately, all I have with me is traveling clothes, which of course are not appropriate for this. So, as you obviously have noticed, I've tried to fix up my appearance somewhat.
Yeah, what level magic?
It's a I think it's normal first level spell.
It's
It's
just
one of my
gone then. The illusion is gone.
oh. Ah, well, how dreadful. Now I don't fit in at all. I don't take that very kindly. What's your name, young lady? Of course, I'm a pretty young lady too, but I'm still acting that way.
I am Narcy of Xandra, and I'm afraid that the guards aren't going to like that raiment. Oh, Cody says, finally done with my reports. Good hanging around and listening to the party. Exhausted and heading to bed. Good night, all. Good night, Cody.
Yay.
Later.
Says, yes, I don't think the guards are going to find that fits in at all. And in fact, one of them has noticed
Well,
and
and
has
that's
turned around
your
and has
fault.
come up to escort you off. Ma'am, if you would come this way, please.
Fine. You'll hear about this later.
I'm going to leave a scathing review on the old Yelp.
Yep.
Brings
Wroat
us.
Yelp is gonna hear from me.
Okay. Amos and Ungus. You're coming up in the raiment of the guards.
Don't say a word.
You do the talking this time.
Amos seeks guidance from Anatar in these trying times and marches up Does anybody look like they're in charge, or are they all like? What's their like? They just escorted someone off. The boat.
They all look basically equivalent. It's just enough to handle the big group of nobles and all. It's just there's enough of them in order to keep the line moving well.
So Amos says, "What happened there?" To the nearest guard.
Yeah, somebody tried to sneak in with magic.
Aye, we've been sent to fortify this position, this event. Where would you like us?
Yeah, just sit here on the end and check the papers.
Aye. So Ungus is strangely silent. And we're trying to fit in with this little guard here.
Okay, so you're checking papers of people as they come
Mm-hmm.
on board, looking to make sure things look like actual, what's it of the lineage? Scroll of pedigrees. And signets and so forth. They all look very fine and very bored, and they all seem kind of used to this as they're filing on. All right, brings us back around, I think, to Vila. Let's see here. Oh, we got...
Ungus happens to be reading somebody's paper upside down. Doesn't even understand it.
Okay, and so there's a band leader up here now, and the band leader has got a very interesting band. So in the forecastle, a female gnome holding a conductor's baton is controlling a quartet of mechanical creatures, all holding different instruments. So the constructs are shaped like farm animals, stood on their hind legs, and are dressed in military uniforms. There's a dog playing the flute, a horse playing the drum, a pig playing the lute, and a cow playing the viol. And they play a jaunty tune, much to the amusement of the onlooking guests, who also look in much amusement at the goat escape. Thinking it might be one of those. Like, shouldn't you be up there with them?
Arlek pointedly ignores any questions about him as if it's completely unusual for anybody to ask why it's even there.
Okay. Vila. What are you and Connor doing?
We're just hanging out, kind of out of sight,
Okay.
nearby, close enough to the boat that we can be out of sight.
Did we recognize any of the guests who went in as we're checking papers?
You do recognize the young man from the train as one of the guests. You recognize, if you're literate, you recognize, some of the names of folks. Can you see the names? You should be able to see the names.
We can.
Okay,
yeah.
yes.
Yes.
Just the one looks
And
familiar. Okay.
yeah, and there's a bunch more people than just these, and there's streams of servants and so forth, but sort of limited it down. Let's see, bright lights and pleasant music emanate from the deck of the ship, and from the masts and the rigging above, colored lights engulf the scene in a calming, prismatic glow. The guests are milling about the deck, dressed in fine clothes and jewelry. Most seem engrossed in conversation or are listening to the band perform at the front end of the ship. Okay, so what all are you guys doing?
So, to make sure I have this, we're here that this particular prophecy doesn't come true, right?
Yeah, we want to stop
Dark lanterns and the
spies are
silver
up to.
torch.
Yeah, so
Okay.
yes, you are here to find out who the spy is and what their mission is. And you want to ensure that, well, hopefully, ideally, it'd be nice if you ensure that there's no war between the two nations of Thrain and Breland.
The dog of war dances, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the mechanical musicians was a dog? Amos wouldn't know
Yep,
this.
the one playing the flute.
Right. Probably not the dog of war, but make sure it doesn't dance.
It's
Yeah,
not.
Amos and
It's
Ungus
not
are-
dancing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
playing music. It's not dancing. No.
All right. Amos and Ungus are just trying to, blend in and be there in case some sort of event happens, just like the rest of the guards. So it's a pretty convincing.
And of course, Ungus takes it probably a little too far. And he's extra loud,
No.
about papers. Like, right, your papers say this. I think you're good. Get on the ship.
And one of the other knights leans over. Shh! We're supposed to be discreet about this. Don't annoy the nobles.
Right.
Okay,
Right,
Brandy.
it's
Go
still
ahead.
just as loud.
Okay, Brandy, what are you doing?
Well, I'm headed kind of down towards the stern of the ship and a little bit down the dock, and just staying there where I can keep an eye on things as much as possible. And got some ideas how I might be able to get on later, but for now I'll just keep an eye on it.
Okay. So, Arlak, you're the only one on the ship.
Oh. I do have a question real quick. It
Okay.
looks like in the captain's quarters there may be some portholes.
Yes, there
Is that
are.
what it appears? Okay.
Yes.
How big are those? Big enough for me to fit through? Looks like it on the picture, but it's about 4 feet wide, maybe.
Okay, it might be tight. It might be tight.
Okay. Just planning ahead of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Arlak will just sort of mingle with guests, be very obvious about what house he's representing, and see if anybody seems. He'll actually be essentially acting as an agent of the house, making sure has anybody used their services? Were they happy with the services? Is there anything we could do for you? Essentially doing the shaking hand kisses babies for House Kundarak kind of a thing.
And you get a little bit of folks sort of leaning
kind of get a feel for who's
away.
on.
You get people leaning a little away from that. It's like, oh, that it's so common to talk trade during a party. We're here to be seen, to see and be seen.
Does anybody not do that?
Actually, you see a female halfling. The female halfling here. She looks kind of older, and she's dressed a little more modestly than her fellow nobles. And she does have a cane in front of her that she kind of taps, and she looks a little bit irritable, and like she's sitting there talking to Tybalt, your star, and she seems to be finding him a little bit tiresome.
Okay. If she gets to a point where she's not engaged in conversation, Arlak would move up to her and totally drop the whole sales pitch and go in with the more of the, these things are pretty boring, aren't they?
Okay. So, the man she's talking to, that is... yes, actually, you're in luck. So, the man who's, that she's been talking to, goes up above and starts, looking like he's going to prepare to speak. But there's a little bit of a lull, before he tries to get people's attention. And so she's standing there on her own for a moment.
Yeah, he'll kind of sidle up and say, these things can be so boring. Sometimes I wonder why I even get sent to represent at these. Nobody's interested in what I've got to say. I'm not even interested in it.
Oh, positively tedious. Oh, absolutely. I miss the prowess of my generation. The brawn, the guile, I mean, no, we must surrender our power to these frivolous decisions of youngsters. And she looks you up and down and realizes how young you probably are. And it's like, and she sort of sighs. I'm sure you're fine, dear.
Well, I'm in the 3 digits.
Well, okay, that's okay. You know, I'm sure the country is going to suffer as a result of it. It's just these frivolous young things. In my day, we were honest at what we did. Well, except for the guile part, of course, that wasn't terribly honest, but you know what I mean.
Well, that's expected. I mean, if you don't have the guile, you can't judge the honesty, and vice versa.
I mean, look at
Um,
and as she sort of stands aside, she points over to one of the women over there. I mean, take Mercutio, for example. I mean, look how frilly she is. She's so uppity. The war lies like a shadow over the city, and she wants to laugh at it, and she's making merriment with the military gentleman that she's talking to over there. I mean, there's just something off about that.
I'm sorry. I don't get to the capital very often. Oh, why are we worried about war at this point? Didn't we just finish one?
Oh, I don't know. There's always saber rattling, and some of the trade deals are sounding, shall we say, tense.
Hmm.
And look at her there, exchanging looks with that Olivier over there. They keep looking at each other. I hope it's nothing more than a tacit love affair.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. And she just sort of muses off to herself.
Well, if I could ask, how would you solve this? How would this be better? Because I don't know how to solve this, but you seem to have quite a few ideas.
Oh, if we just had leaders that we could trust to take these things seriously and negotiate in good faith and rather than just for petty profit, but really think about the good of the country.
You wouldn't happen to know any like that, because I would like to know one of them.
Oh, I don't know. My generation has turned them all over to this. Excuse me, just a moment. I will be right back.
Yep.
Sorry about that. Okay. Little grandson wandering in. Anyways, where was I? Oh, I don't know. My generation has turned the reins over, and I fear we won't see their like again. Although I suppose every generation says that, don't we?
I think it's customary.
So the man who's up above starts, tinging a glass, and the music dies down. He is getting their attention. And he stands up and he says, as is customary in these, welcomes folks to the armistice ball, and to set the mood, he is going to recite the famous "When the Sky Burns," which is a 10-minute elegy by a renowned elven war poet, Marius de Fjarlund. And so he starts into this, and folks quiet down and turn to look over to listen respectfully as he does this. So do you turn and politely watch the poetry recital, or what do you do?
I'm gonna occasionally glance in that direction, but I'm gonna be watching the crowd to see who's not paying attention and what they're doing.
What is Brandy doing that requires a Constitution save?
Trying to stay awake during his reading.
Okay. You
And
failed.
apparently not doing too well.
Yeah, you failed miserably. Okay, so people are sort of milling around a little bit, but are kind of paused. All right, give me a perception check then. Arlick.
Nope.
Bored out of your skull and not noticing a thing. Okay. Oh, actually, she's not doing it. Alrighty, so we've got people milling around
Unless
a little
Escape
bit.
is also going to look, but I don't think he'd know what he's looking for.
I don't think he would know what he's looking for. No.
He's better at it than I am.
Yeah.
So are the guards paying attention to this too, the knights, or are they not?
No, they are not. They are watching, for any latecomers coming, and they are standing at attention and being alert and being guard-like.
Gotcha.
Are you going to do anything with that? Ungus and Amos? Or are you just going to stand with the knights?
So Angus is going to point down this dark alley and say to the guard nearby, "Did you see that?"
And the guard turns and looks. No, what?
Somebody came out, grabbed another man, and started running. They looked our way and they started sprinting away.
Well, I didn't see
Somebody
it.
should go after him.
Well, if you saw it, you go. Go. Hustle, man.
All right, see, I got this knee. I took an arrow to it once when I was like you.
Give me
can't run
persuasion
fast.
or deception here. Angus, yes. Oh my goodness. Oh,
About
I'll
time.
go then. I'll go then. Where did you see him? Which way? And you point. Okay, and he's off to check into it.
You might want to bring a friend.
Always use the buddy system.
How are you doing that as a suggestion?
Yeah, I yell that out as he's sleeping. Angus does.
Okay, be persuasive about it. Give me persuasion.
Barely makes any
No.
sense.
That's bald,
You're
sir.
right. You got this.
That's bald, sir. He's got it. He'll be back. We got to stay at our posts.
So then Angus whispers to Amos, "Maybe you have to check on something aboard."
Brandy, give me a perception check.
Whoops, trying to get my whoops, there we go. Clicker in the right spot.
You see a flicker of shadow in the captain's cabin. Okay, Angus and Amos, you're doing what again?
Amos says to the other guard, I need to check in, make sure everything's okay. I'll be right back. Starts to march up the gangplank.
Okay.
And just stands there, surveys the scene.
All right, and the poetry reading is over, and folks clap politely. And then let's see. Oh yes, and then let's see, Balthazar. Where's Balthazar? He's here somewhere. Aha! This dragonborn. He then goes up on. I'm gonna just because it's easier to see them. I'm just gonna put them here. They're up on top of that. So this gentleman in military bearing. Do I have a description? I have a description of him somewhere. I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know where I have a description of him. Anyways, he's quite older and all, and he's giving a speech about the importance of the armistice, and yeah. Okay.
Very important.
Very important. Very solemn. You see Jovi sort of stifling a yawn. Okay, so what else are you guys doing?
Amos will go back and say, "Those infernal mechanical beasts have knocked over some kegs. I need some muscle. Help me sort things out. Come, you." And he points to Angus,
Okay.
brings him on, and we...
And a few people kind of look your way, but don't seem to pay you any mind.
When they do that, I'm assuming the guards kind of glance their direction a bit.
Yes.
And is it fairly dark where I am?
Yes.
And at that moment, I will cast Levitate on myself and push off the dock, keeping myself at about the same height for the moment,
Okay.
and push myself over toward the stern of the ship and kind of work my way over to where I'm hanging onto this porthole and peeking in.
Okay. And I'll say
I
you
hope
did
nobody
that.
saw me do-
I'll say you did that just in time to see sort of the back of a woman leaving, walking out of there and leaving it.
Okay.
Angus and Amos, from where you are, you see the man who was doing the poetry recital coming down and sort of whispering very sternly at this woman here. And it looks like they're having a minor argument. Okay.
I think we'll start to head below decks. If we start to look awkward, we'll start to head below. But we're taking our
So
time and trying to
immediately.
be discreet.
Yeah, I mean, people move out of the way for you, but you need to look like you're on doing something active. So yes,
We're not loitering. We're going below decks to take care of the problem.
Okay. So you head below decks to take care of the problem. And you see down there, I mean, it's clearly a bunch of stuff for storage. So you'll end up over here on the lower deck area. Clearly stuff, but stuff's mostly empty. Stuff has largely been cleared out down there. And
There's
nobody
down here.
There's nobody down there at the moment, no.
Okay. So we're just kind of listening and waiting.
Okay. So listening. Let me see. How do I want to phrase this? Okay, so listening down there at the bottom, you can hear these two essentially quarreling right above you. And Tybalt is talking to Caesarea. It's like, you need to socialize more. You need to be about. I saw you sneaking off into that cavern. We're the hosts here. You're supposed to be part of it. I mean, look at that Mercutio, and look at how bright and sparkling she is. Why can't you be more like that? And it's like, because I'm not like that, and I don't even really want to be here. And besides, you're reading too much into it. It's you who are drawing attention to us by being here and scolding. And they carry on like that for a bit until he sort of goes off in a huff, and she kind of goes to mingle. Okay, so Arlick, what are you doing?
Do we know? I mean, Narcy's been pretty much foiling us, but do we know who she is or why she would be here?
I think Ungus and Amos would have heard that there were also some magical defenses being handled by Madame Narcy. So they would know
Okay.
that she's specifically part of the
So she's the magical security, essentially.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Arlick
Alrighty.
might have noticed that, she's sort of mingling, but not exactly mingling. She doesn't really engage in conversation with them. She's more just sort of passing through and around what he would have noticed.
Is Balthazar still talking at this point?
We can have him having finished up and coming back down into the party.
Okay, then that's not like a cordoned off place. It would be fine to go up into
Yes.
the forecastle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can go up, and when you go up, you'd be up over here, and you would see the band leader and the band, and nobody would think twice about you taking escape up there, frankly.
Yeah, I'll go up there and just take a moment to kind of watch the performance, and if there's a break, well, they don't need necessarily breaks, but maybe the conductor does. I'll try to surreptitiously actually figure out if there's anything unusual about their construction or anything like that. I guess specifically I'd start with the dog.
Okay, we'll say the dog's over on this side on the end.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it while they're actually performing. That would be rude.
Okay. So you sort of watch for a while, and the band is playing and all that, and then you see a servant come up and offer the young woman a drink. Let me show you. I did find an appropriate image for her. And so she smiles and kind of laughs gaily and accepts the drink, and so she comes over, and let me get a commoner here to be a commoner to be a servant, to talk with them for a moment.
Alrighty, so I will try to casually
Give me
check it out.
stealth. I know you're not exactly sneaking, but let's see how unobtrusive you are. Okay. Okay, so you have a really high passive investigation. You're specifically looking at the dog?
Yes. Yes, I will try to get to all of them, but I was going to start with the dog.
Okay, so looking at the dog, you notice there's something odd about the flute. And it's sort of a recorder style, but the dog leans back way up, and it seems something a little odd. And as you look a little more closely at it, it looks like there could be a concealed weapon in it, something like a blow dart or something. And as you're looking at it, you get kind of caught up looking at that. And suddenly you find the gnome over there. Excuse me, those are mine. What do you think you're doing?
I was admiring your handiwork. Did you create these?
Yes, of course I did.
And Arlak will give a casual motion for Escape to move up I said, I see that we
Oh,
have common interest.
so we do.
And
And she looks over escape. And was there anything she would that an artificer would specifically notice about escape?
Other than he's the traditional steel defender, but it's unusual for people to choose something, a goat form essentially. But he's constructed to try to look as close to being an actual goat as can get away with steel plates, gears, and magic. He makes an effort to try to make it look as realistic as
Yeah.
a goat as possible.
And she laughs gaily and says, I see you have as much a taste of the whimsy as I have with mine here.
He kind of leans in conspiratorially. You got to tell me what their names are.
Their names. Well, you know, I got kind of a taste, even though they are metal. I like textile names and all. And so it amused me. So that this is, now let me make sure I remember which we've got. Okay, so there's the dog first, you know. This is Rough. And the next one is the horse who's playing the drum. And
Of course.
that's Tassel. And the pig playing the lute is, of course, I mean, it couldn't be anything other than Silk Purse. And then the cow playing the viol, and it's like, and I was a little tired when I named her. And so she's just moving. Oh, I know, dreadful pun, isn't it? And she laughs gaily.
Arlek will legitimately laugh along with her. His name's Escape, and it's just so obvious what the joke is that he just laughs out loud.
They're just laughing and all this, and it's like, oh, but I really need to get back to it. And so do enjoy the party, have fun. And she turns and taps her baton and starts the band playing again.
While they were laughing, Brandy is going to try to stealth her way up onto the aft deck here.
Okay.
And just lay low out of sight.
Give me both stealth and I believe it's athletics.
Well, I still have levitation.
You're still levitating, yes. So just stealth then.
Yeah, it's about to run out, so I figured I better do something.
Oh, you're plenty stealthy.
Thank you, dice gods.
However, you do also, well, no, because you're staying out of sight, so you wouldn't necessarily notice her wandering that way.
I'm prone down on the deck, out of sight.
And have you stopped levitation now?
Yes. Yeah, as soon as I got over the rail, I'll drop it.
Okay, so she's not going to pick up on the magic right then. Okay.
Just one question about the blow dart. Mm-hmm. Does it look like it's something that can be moved around and aimed, or was it something that seemed like it was in a fixed position?
That is a really good question, and that is a question I should have been prepared for, knowing that there are two artificers in the party.
Or to phrase a different way, did it look like somebody would have to be somewhere very specific to be attacked, or did it look more like these are like Escape and could be moving around and attacking?
That is going to be done. Oh, come on. You know, it's one of those things, I should know better. I should remember to read these things out of order, because you always ask me questions out of order, and then I have trouble. I have to read through the whole thing in order to find what I'm looking for that I know is here somewhere. Okay. It looks not a particular place, it looks like there's a very narrow range of place. And it looks very
Okay.
much like someone would need to be dun, 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 dun. Okay, it looks like it would need to be somewhere right about, let's say, right about in here. Somewhere in around this area. Let me just
Okay.
mark it with somewhere around in this area. Move that back to the map later.
Alrighty. Then
Like I said,
when
I
it
should have been, I
seems-
know you guys now, I should have been prepared for that question.
when he feels like it's unobtrusive and not so obvious, he will make his way down and be near where he thinks it's targeting.
Okay. Okay, Brandy, what are you doing? Are you still just hovering there?
Just lying low and listening, eyes
Okay.
open.
And Amos and Ungus, same thing. You're listening with ears open.
That's right. They're arguing a little bit over whispers.
They're arguing a bit over whispers. All right, someone.
Amos wants to stay here.
Okay. Someone give me a D6. Let's see who happens to wander by the top of the stairs where they could be heard.
I'll do it.
Okay. So it happens to be Olivier and that Mercutio. We can move her over here. She can chat with Lyra for a bit. All right. So it happens to be Olivier and Mercutio having a conversation. And she is doing most of the talking. And she's just all she's doing all the talking, and it's light fluff. I'm just so happy to be here. I so enjoy a party, don't you? I mean, there are some people who are just stuck in the mud, like that lady Lyra, and well, I know you've got a more conservative temperament yourself, but I mean, don't you just want to lighten up and have fun sometimes? And he sort of says something non-committally back. And those who are listening, give me insight. And she's sort of chattering on. Amos, even though she is even though she's very fluttery and very light, and it seems to be saying nothing, you can, because you're not looking at her, so you're not distracted by the fluff and the fluttering and the reaching over to touch his arm and the little motions and gestures and so forth. She actually seems to be quite pointed. And and probing somehow. That's sort of the sense you get from that.
So they're having a very specific conversation that sounds like fluff.
She is.
She is. And he is not saying much.
He's not saying much. He's the recipient. He seems somewhat distracted. Isn't really paying a lot of attention to her. All right, so let's give another roll. Let's see who wanders by next as the party sort of shifts. Actually, where does it get there? So about at this time, our general fellow silences the band, and he gets up and he starts delivering another speech honoring the generals specifically who fought in the last war, and various noble generals who are here. He asks them to come on and speak a little bit and tell us some of your experience in the war. And none of you have a couple of soldiers. Ungus, Vila's not here. And Ungus is downstairs, so he wouldn't catch the eye. Okay, so no, he's not going to recognize or call on anything. So he's starting with that. And as Brandy, are you also peeking over to try and see?
No, I'm trying to stay out of sight.
Okay. Okay. So we'll have some more shuffling around. Somebody give me a D6 and let's see who wanders by next. Oh, he's talking with General, so it's not going to be him. 5. All right. We're going to have Jovi talking to Caesarea. Okay. And Jovi is very much, trying to get Caesarea to talk more, and he's flattering her and giving her compliments and how gracious she is. And she seems to be kind of warming up to him a little bit, however. She's also saying yes. And I know, my brother is so strict. He's so harsh in his views of others. Take Olivier, for example. He's not as bad as people say. He really isn't. Once you get to know him, he's really quite sweet. But you cannot convince Tybalt about that at all. He is just dead set against him, and I don't really understand why. And Jovi talks about, yes, he is such a charming gentleman, of course, but, really, who can sort of think very much about that? You just like people's company, and brothers are going to be brothers, and he's going on about that. And you can give me another insight, those who are downstairs, though Amos stepped away. Angus can give me insight. See if you gather anything from this. Oh, what the heck, we'll give you advantage just for the heck of it.
Help action from Amos.
There we go.
Perfect.
Oh, Brandy,
Let me show you how to be insightful.
And so, and actually, Brandy, you could also give insight too, because you're listening.
Not that I'm good at that, but I'm pretty close.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So there's kind of anyone looking at her would think that she's sort of gracious and happy and all that, and she's talking about a nice sort of thing, but her voice has got some sadness and anxiety to it that you aren't quite picking up on. Thanks for stopping by, Stephen. Have a good night. And about this time, let's see. So Arlick, a staggering drunken noble bumps into you and spills wine on you about here and now. Oh, so sorry. Shouldn't have stepped into my path,
My apologies. I was not anticipating where you would be needing to walk, so I chose poorly in where I should stand.
Yeah, you did. You should watch that. Yes, and he sort of staggers often into one of the servants and causes their platter to clatter to the floor.
Does he seem actually inebriated, or is this
Give me insight.
an act.
Yeah, he's
A drunk is a drunk
drunk
is a
as a
drunk.
skunk. Yep. Although, as you're looking away, you do see, actually, Olivier coming out of the captain's quarters and glances over at Caesarea and then sort of rather swiftly walks away and engages in conversation with someone.
I'll make sure that I sort of steer the drunk over that area. Sort of like a zone defense on it, making sure nobody stays in that particular section for very long,
In
if
this
at all.
section? Okay.
Even though he knows this, even though he knows there's only so much deck to go around.
Okay, and there are more people than are here. It's just
He tries to,
keeping it small.
right. He tries to, as best he can, get people to be moving around, so it's nobody stays in that section for very long if he can help.
Okay. And then after all the military honors are done and all, there's this really sweet thing. Some servants come up that have got all these candles and flowers, and the candles are in these sort of little flower boat things, so that these are peace candles that we can ceremonially drop them off the side of the boat to float down the river, and as a sign of peace and armistice. And so just about everybody is over at the sides of the deck in order to do this.
I would move away just a little bit so that others could get closer to the rail.
And people are chattering happily, and isn't this just a charming tradition to toss these down into there?
In fact, he'll put escape right in where he thinks it's going to be, to occupy that spot.
Okay. And as shortly after we're doing that, and our guys downstairs, you guys are still hanging out downstairs? Angus, Amos?
We're having a political discussion now.
Okay, there's a bit of a ruckus out front as a good group of protesting commoners come up and are loudly shouting about profiteering from the last war and how all the benefits went, we were the ones who died on the field and you're, profited from this and are now out partying and celebrating it. And if this is peace, how good is our lot? And the disruption is sort of drawing attention, and people are all kind of wandering over there to see what's going on as the knights are starting to try and shepherd the people around. And Vila, you seem to be doing something. Are you part of the protest?
Oh, actually, I'll just start to get a little closer, not actually get into it. I just realized maybe I shouldn't be part of it yet.
Okay, and as the guards have gathered and are trying to sort of shepherd the people around, it's a little bit unruly, but they're trying to sort of just calmly, just sort of, move along here. This isn't the time for it. Take it to the city council. Take it to the governor. Nobody here can do anything about it. It's just, take it to the proper place and time. And they're just sort of gradually being moved off. And the knights do seem to be fairly focused on that at the moment.
I guess I slowly head towards the boat.
Give me stealth. Let's see how unobtrusive you are. And how are you dressed?
Oh my god. I guess in armor. So I'm not just for a party.
Okay, give me stealth. One of the knights catches sight of you and says, "Hey, you! What are you doing?" And these are not the
Angus is
knights
gonna
who
head up.
these are not the knights who let you on as the bomb squad below. This is the relief guard. So he comes
I'm
up
an
to,
escort. I was told to wait near the end of the gangplank.
who are you escorting?
Miss Lirindar.
Show me your credentials.
She carries them. Why would I carry her guard?
Well, she's well and secure there. You can wait out here for her when they come out.
So while that's going on, Angus comes upstairs, having heard some of this commotion,
Mm-hmm.
and walks up to the side of the boat, sees Vila there, and says, it's fine, she's with me."
And the knight turns and sort of scowls at you, and then he turns and is looking over at sort of guarding here and watching what the knights are doing and trying to dispel the crowd.
And Angus kind of waves Vila on.
And you're starting to gather a bit of attention here too.
Right. Need you down below. Angus heads back down.
Great.
Okay. So it's getting quite a bit later, and you see some servants starting to gather out along the dock too. Let me put a couple commoners there to represent. They're starting to set up fireworks. It looks like they're setting up the rockets and so forth for fireworks. And the band is playing and people are happy and chatting. Let's see, what else could you know? Let's see here.
Angus fills Vila in and all the stuff we've been hearing.
Amos shakes his head.
Okay. So I think we'll have one more conversation here. Where did Balthazar go? Here's Balthazar here with Balthazar and Caesarea. Let's see. What did Balthazar say? Oh, no. He's talking to Lyra. They're a couple of old folks chatting together comfortably. And Balthazar is confiding to her, I'm a little afraid for the governor's daughter. That's Caesarea. She seems rather distant tonight, don't you think? I fear she makes ill choices in love and it will only end up hurting her in the end. I don't suppose one of her suitors is here, do you think? And Lyra leans back and says, "Oh, who can tell among the youth? I mean, as flitty as she is, maybe. So many responsibilities we've left for them. If we really were prepared for them to take over." Okay. Are you guys going to try and do anything else before the fireworks take off, or are you staking out the place that you believe the target's going to be?
I don't seem to have a firm grasp on who the target is, and since I only know where the target could be, that's sort of
Okay.
where I'm sticking.
Okay.
Pretty much anything useful I do, I might get detected doing it, so I'll just keep staking out.
Okay. So a few people have noticed the commoners, the servants setting up for the fireworks, and they start, eagerly gathering around, and a couple of people have gone up atop to get a better view, and other people are sort of smiling. Give me perception, please, Arlek.
Nope.
Oh dear. Okay. Okay. So let's see. We need.
And unless Escape has any reason to detect it as well, he's got perception.
Okay. Where is everybody else? Okay, so Vila is downstairs with the guys. So I have Arlek on deck. I have Brandy up on the aft. And everybody else is downstairs listening. Okay. The people are getting set to watch. She's sort of hovering around there. He's over here talking to that. And these two are chatting and sort of leaning him over. And let's see. So we're quickly setting up a row of brightly painted rockets pointing to the sky. And they lean over and light the fuses that sputter with sparks. And the rockets fly into the night, exploding into a thunderous display of bright colors. And as the guests on the Montulate gaze up, I will give you one more chance for perception, Arlek. With advantage because you're actively looking.
I appreciate the effort.
Okay.
Unless they're actually actively moving into the zone I'm watching, in which case I'll move them away even if I don't know who they are or why they're there.
Okay, well, these folks are actively seem to be moving into the zone. This couple is, and as folks are looking up and oohing and awing.
Amos will start going up to see what the commotion is he's hearing.
I will address the people standing next to Escape and say, you're gonna want to move away. He's a little skittish around explosions. I can't guarantee he won't kick out. You might want to give him a little room.
And they look at you rather oddly, and she starts to move aside a little bit, and he sort of stops her. It's like, well, so move your goat out of the way. We want to watch the fireworks. This is the best spot to see them.
Oh no, the best spot is obviously over there, and he just randomly picks a spot and points at it with all the confidence he can muster.
And she's looking puzzled and distracted.
I've done the math.
She's looking puzzled and distracted and starting to sort of move away, and he snags and grabs her arm.
I will move up, but I think the lady wants to move. You're being a little grabby there, sir.
And that's a good thought here. Okay. Come on, roll 20. Come on. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So, as she turns to look at him and turns to look at you, the lady, Mercutio, suddenly collapses in a heap on the floor, and some others come rushing up to help her, and a woman starts screaming, "She's dead! She's dead!" And they all start piling in, and the guards start coming onto deck at the commotion. And there's fireworks above, and there's screaming and chattering and chaos on deck, and then there's guards coming into the mainland. What are you all doing? Brandy, give me perception. Let's see how well you parse out what you're seeing here.
Well, how about that?
Well, how about that? Okay, so you can tell that the center of the commotion is right here over by where Arlek and Escape are. that a woman has gone down. And Arlick, what are you doing? You are right there.
I am gonna get into the face of just moving to read his name, Olivier, saying, "Why did you endanger her? This is your fault. You knew this would happen."
And
Essentially, making a show of making him responsible.
he at first sort of gets a panic-stricken look on his face, and then he shifts very quickly into indignant. It's like, who are you to accuse me of such a thing? Do you know who I am?
Yeah, you're the person who caused her death.
I beg
That's
your
who
pardon.
you are. She was trying to leave that area, and you kept her there. I can't see any other reason unless you're implying that you had even more nefarious purposes than her murder.
I beg your pardon. I merely wanted to look up at the fireworks, you impudent person.
Of course.
Can Amos do a medicine check on the victim?
Yes.
All right. So I'll walk over and
It's her. Actually, I'll put an X mark on her so you can tell. It's actually not that hard to tell. You can see a small metal dart lodged in her neck.
can I revivify her?
Can you? Do you have what you need for it?
Diamonds worth 300 gold, which the spell consumes. I don't have diamonds on me. I don't know how this works in AL.
Does she have diamonds on
Does she
her?
have diamonds on her?
Ooh.
Part of the medical inspection. You got to check for those.
It's like checking for the
Okay.
insurance card.
She is wearing a purple gown, bright and lively as her personality. She is wearing gold jewelry, including gold hairpins decorating her flowing black hair.
All right.
She's wearing gold,
A-
not diamonds.
Amos cries out, "Diamonds! I need diamonds! I could bring her back!" And tries to persuade the crowd to save this poor woman.
All right, we'll say one of the noble women here has a diamond in her tiara that she's curious and is willing to loan it to you. Actually, Narcy, let me see what Narcy has.
Strictly speaking, this will lose value, but it will become of legend.
What price can you put on a woman's life?
Okay, and let's see. So what
I'm
does
sure she's good for it.
and what does revivify? Okay, here we go. Touch a creature has died within the last minute. Returns to life. Okay. Okay, she is back to life with 1 hit point.
1 hit point.
Do I notice the parade of musicians leaving?
Give me perception. Let's find out.
Oh. Nope.
You do, however,
Maybe.
notice him. You don't really notice the parade of musicians, but you do notice him heading that way.
I'll call out to the party members I can see to stop him. Don't let the murderers escape. And I will use the
All right.
plural, but only seeing Olivier moving.
Okay.
All right.
And the
I'm on the
knights.
move.
So the knights are also tying up the gangplank,
Angus tries to get in the way also.
which manages to stop them. All right. Let's see. All right, and so with people sort of ganging in on him, he panics and tries to come in and stab the woman. Let me see.
Escape will use his reaction for the disadvantage.
Nice.
To impose disadvantage. Okay, very good. Alrighty, so let's see. Not exactly a sneak attack. He's got to use. I'm going to use the short sword just because that's what I have here, but it would actually be a dagger because he does not have a short sword on him at this point. Oh, and it imposes disadvantage, and it misses even without the disadvantage. Okay, so, and Balthazar here makes a grab at him. Let's roll a d20 for that. Ooh, Raiders, all from NJ Coffee Junkie. Wow. Well, thank you, NJ. We're playing Dungeons and Dragons here, and we're near the thrilling conclusion here. So we are scrambling around trying to catch the bad guy here who's trying to kill this poor lady here, and we've got guards and we've got chaos, and this is a great big fancy party on the deck of a ship. So who's doing what, and do I need to roll initiative to keep this straight, or are we just going to dive in here? Okay, so Balthazar rolled a 15. He manages to grab whatever his plus is. Oh yeah, he manages to grab the guy there.
Olivier.
Yeah, Olivier. He is grabbed.
All right. Amos is going to try to hit him.
Okay, go for it.
He's going to strike him with his warhammer.
You don't. Oh, you do have your warhammer. That's right. You
Guard.
managed to.
Yeah.
You managed to get that in. Yes. The guards are. Oh, okay. The guards are going to be very disappointed.
That's a 23 for 4. He's restrained, right? So that doesn't matter much.
Yeah.
And as a bonus action, I'm going to summon the spiritual weapon right next to him.
You had a +1 to your warhammer too.
I did. That's true. So 23 for 5, and then spiritual weapon is a 23 for 8.
Okay. So he's clearly restrained and not going anywhere. The knights are quite good for this, and I assume Ungus and well, Amos is over there with you, but so Ungus is helping the. Ungus, are you trying? Well, she can't go anywhere here because things are sort of gummed up.
Yeah, and Angus is quite clearly saying, "No, you're not going anywhere."
Okay, and so she has her baton, and she waves her baton in a sort of odd manner that looks like she's doing something specific, but that would be kind of odd where she's right here. And as she does that, Narcy here speaks something sharply, and whatever the bandmistress was about to do just sort of fizzles and doesn't happen. And
Who do I?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, who do I feel is the most ranking here? The general,
Probably.
or one of the Starns?
Well, so the general has seniority of age and experience. The Starns might have seniority of rank. But...
Okay, since the general and Tybalt are standing next to each other, Arlac's just going to walk over to them and said, "You must see this. You'll see why I intervened as I did." And he'll bring them over and show them the weapon hidden that is quite obviously a blow dart weapon
in the
that
dog?
matches what she got hit with.
That matches that.
Yeah.
So yes, that is very clear. And she is going to attempt to... What does she have in the way of escape stuff? She ought to have all sorts of stuff for escape stuff.
And did Brandy, I assume you would have noticed the same person go back in captain's cabin that I saw leaving it earlier.
Yes.
Since I'm peeking over the edge, so I'm going to hop down there and follow her and see what she's up to.
Okay, in that case, I will move her back to the
Because
table.
I'm figuring Narcy is probably, occupied with everything else going on, not looking for me. So.
Okay, so you come in and you find Caesarea sort of quietly sitting in a corner with tears running down her face.
Oh my goodness, dear. What's going on? How can I help?
He did it. He did it. There's no way. There's no future for us. He did it. He doesn't love me enough. And she's just crying.
Did you know he was going to do this? And why?
I did. He's a spy, and I knew he was a spy, and I knew he was here to kill someone, and I mean, he said it was supposed to stop a war to kill them, but I asked him to go away with me, and I told him that if he went ahead with this, that we were through, that I wouldn't stay with him for that.
Dear, there's two things I've learned. One, killing somebody never stopped a war. And two, a man who lies to you, you need to get some revenge on that. So I think the best way you can get over him is to make sure that you tell the authorities what you know about him. You think?
She sniffs. Do you think so?
Oh, yes, of course.
But I love him, and I'm sure I was sure he loved me, and I don't think I could do that to him.
Last for me was a man named Elliot. He came to my bar, swept me off my feet, and he told me the sea was his mistress and that he wouldn't stay, but I didn't believe him. And you know what? He left, and I spent years searching for him. The only way I'll ever truly get over him is if and force him to do something. I'm not sure what. You don't have to search for this guy. He's right here. You can get past this today. You'll feel better for the rest of your life, I promise.
I suppose that's true. And she sniffs, and she stands up and tries to get, her noble bearing back on, and wipes her eyes.
I'll be here with you, dear. I'll be here with you.
Okay. And she takes a deep breath to walk out.
And I stab her. No, I don't.
Now that would be an outcome that the writers didn't think of. Okay, so between Ungus and Amos and the other knights, we're starting to sort of straighten some things out. What are you particularly doing around this? What are you guys trying to do? Or are you just sort of leaving it all to the knights?
Trying to subdue him, I think. Make sure he doesn't resist.
I'll specifically ask him why this, why now. Try to get to what his specific motivations are.
And he just looks down and he doesn't really say anything until Caesarea and Brandy come out of the cabin, and as he sees Caesarea, and as she looks very steadily at him with heartbreak behind her eyes, he sort of slumps. What do you want to know?
What was the goal here? Murder could be accomplished so many other ways, much easier.
And Balthazar leans down and says, "You might as well fess up, lad. You're not going much of anywhere." He kind of looks up at him and says, "Oh, very well. I'm from Thrain. I infiltrated the court as Lord Olivier. I was to murder a member of the Dark Lanterns," and he sort of points over at Mercutio. She had uncovered a there's this group of renegades from our organization that I mean, we've tried to repudiate them, but they've been out trying to corrupt the Baelish nobles and steal trade secrets. And if she had told that back to her, superiors, there would have been war, and I was supposed to stop her before she did that, because they don't represent the bunch of us.
Still, mechanical blow darts during a fireworks display? Were you trying to send some kind of a message?
No, I just thought it would be discreet and we could easily slip out in the chaos.
Are you working alone? Is there anyone else we should be concerned with besides your cohort in the bands? And Arlek actually looks very heartbroken that person was on the wrong side.
Yeah, and she's feisty and
could
spitting
have been
fury
something there.
over there, and you know, I mean, she's half the size of the knights and all. It's like, no, I'm on my own. My handler isn't anywhere around here.
I don't believe you.
Does she
No way
work
that
for
one
you,
would
or do you
work with
work
you.
for her?
Who work for who?
Band leader.
The band leader and this guy.
Oh, she works for me.
I don't know. Does anybody else have any other questions? I can't think of anything else to ask this guy. I'm happy we're not getting blamed for something. So this is a good outcome as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's thinking twice about you guys.
Too much other stuff going on.
Yeah, and given our roles this evening,
It has been, yeah. It has.
I will take a moment to go to all of the different band creatures and make sure one of them isn't like rigged to explode or anything like that. But and just
Okay.
shake my head at the band
Yep.
leader.
None of them are, and you're able to.
You bring shame on the mechanical wood farm animals.
Yeah, and I mean, you're able to pretty thoroughly disable the dog's flute so that it can't be used that way again without some significant repairs. And none of the others seem rigged for anything like that. It was actually quite impressively done. It was quite discreet, and she's obviously very good at that tinkering craft. It's a pity that she seems to have other ambitions.
Sigh.
Amos will tend to the wounds of the woman with some of his magic.
Okay. And are you going to do anything with her other than heal her? I mean, is anyone going?
I think we're gonna let her know what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, make sure she understood what happened.
Okay.
And
she
what he accused her of.
And she is all fluttery outrage, which you can give me insight if you would wish. So she's fluttery outrage, but she's actually furious. And you get the sense that he wasn't completely wrong. Okay, so after the aftermath of this is all cleaned up. You know, the guests are questioned and statements are taken, and Ungus and Amos are sort of helping with the other guards keep things in order, and you know, the ship is secured, and it's in some ways, many of the party guests are chattering even more excited because, oh, isn't there juicy gossip to tell tomorrow when they make the rounds? And isn't it just going... And you can just shake your heads at the priorities of nobles. And you are able to actually sort of slip away into the night and take the train back to Sharn and report back to Flamewind, who listens very carefully to your report of what was going on. And what do you tell her about who the spy was and what the mission was?
He was this Olivier dude. He was from Thrain. And he tried to kill... I forgot her name now because I couldn't see it very good. So basically, I'll tell her all we know.
Okay.
Mercutio, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was the
Mercutio.
Thrain with the blow dart on the ship.
And Flamewind listens very carefully, and she says, "This confirms it. The Oracle of War speaks the true words of the Draconic prophecy, and this makes it valuable beyond compare. And it is your destiny to unravel its mysteries. I hope your efforts in Wroat have averted war between the two nations. Only time will tell on that front. Until then, though, there is much to be done. I trust you'll allow me to help you further in these matters." And she looks
Yeah, sure.
expectantly
Seemed
at you.
to be helpful this time. Well, and I guess, the part you couldn't figure about Sky Blue, I'm guessing that was just, the sky where the fireworks were shooting off. That's all I can figure.
Oh. But did you figure about the dog of war?
Yeah, it was a dog.
An actual dog?
Well, well, Arlok can tell you better.
It's the ones that seem the
She
most
has
cryptic
such
that are the...
lovely farm animals, and unfortunately, one was used for ill gain. Very disappointing.
It's the verses that seem the most obscure that turn out to be the most straightforward, and the ones that seem so straightforward that turn out to be the most obscure. Very odd.
Darn Draconians.
Okay, so we can now do the adventure record and all. I'll go through that with you here very shortly as I close down the stream. So thank you for playing, and those who watched, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will be back for the end of this trilogy sometime next month. It'll show up on my calendar. So laters to the folks on stream.